Hello and welcome to Wayne Hills High School for today's North 1 Group 3 state quarterfinal matchup between your Wayne Hills Patriots and the Northern Highlands Highlanders. I'm John Vittas here with Nick Appaluccio and Paul Gabbianelli. So guys, Wayne Hills comes in as the 9 seed, and normally when you're the 9 seed, you just want to get past that first game and then take your chances against the 1 seed. But it's a little bit different this year because the 16 seeded Northern Highlands team knocked off the first seeded Paramus Club. So Wayne Hills gets a home game here at Wayne Hills for the second round and quarterfinals of the states. So Nick, tomorrow this Wayne Hills baseball team has a county quarterfinal game against Alexot and Pompton Lakes. So obviously the pitching is going to be a factor with who you throw when. So if you're Coach Ianella, how do you approach this game? Is it all hands on deck, or do you save someone for tomorrow? How do you approach this situation?
Well, John, you got to take the game in front of you. I know Pompton Lakes is a great team, but Wayne Hills has a really deep pitching staff. You got a couple sophomores in there, you have a couple juniors, then you have seniors. Their senior leader so far this year has been Steve Levenbrook. So they have a deep enough pitching staff where I think they could throw their best this game and then have someone good enough to go tomorrow and win that game.
Right. So Troy Zaffino, the sophomore, will be making today's start, and Chris Amato will be ready in relief, and they're going to save Steve Levenbrook, the ace, for tomorrow's game against Pompton Lakes. But Paul, from a baseball perspective, obviously it's a big game, state quarterfinals. Just looking at today's game alone, how does this Patriot team approach this game, and how do they come out of here with the win?
Well, I'm thinking the Patriots team's going to have to, stick with teamwork, and, they're going to have to hit the right pitches. You're going to keep your eye on the ball. You just want to use the right players at the right time. And, I think you really want to treat this game like it's any other game. I don't want – the Patriots shouldn't get, too crazy over this one game because they got games in the future, so they don't want to take it too far.
So, Nick, if you had to single out one guy today that you think needs to step up for Wayne Hills, who is it and why?
I'm going with the center fielder, Tyler Rubino, number 5. You have Jordan Kessel and Kevin Solomon hitting in front of him. They're going to get on base. Tyler, so far this year, has got a .297 batting average. He's going to have to step up and bring those guys in. He's going to have chances to get RBIs, but the question is, can he hit them in?
Now, Paul, the great baseball expression is you're only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. So I know Northern Highlands is the 16 seed today, but obviously it's anybody's game. So it's going to come down to the pitching, in my opinion. So who do you think's going to pull out the win today, and why?
I really have high hopes for Patriots winning today because, we have the team, we have the expectations, and, it's just looking like I'm just feeling a win today.
I'm feeling good about this game today, too. I think my tricky player as far as who needs to step up is definitely got to be Troy Zaffino. Solomon and Kessel are going to have to pull their weight like they usually do in the middle of the order. But if Troy Zaffino can lead things off in that one hole, get things going offensively, and, of course, he's going to have to pitch a good game if this team wants to win. So that'll do it from here on the field. We'll be back with the first pitch after this.
Hi, my name's Matt, and I'm standing in front of the famous Times Square building in Manhattan, New York. There are a lot of people here, but how many people will typically walk through here every day? Is it A, 1.6 million, B, 2.4 million, or C, 750,000? If you answered A, then you're right. Though 1.6 million people pass through the square, only about 267,000 actually work here.
Welcome back to Wayne Hills High School for the North 1 Group 3 state quarterfinal matchup between Wayne Hills and Northern Highlands. I'm John Vittas here with Paul Gabbianelli and Nick Appaluccio. We're just about ready to get things started. I'm going to run through the starting lineups for both teams before we get going. The starting pitcher for Wayne Hills, who we'll see on the mound first, is sophomore Troy Zaffino. He comes in today with a 2-1 record. This will be his 4th start of the year. He also had 2 relief appearances earlier on before he earned his way into the rotation. 24 innings on the season, an ERA of 3.12. He has 2 complete games, 21 strikeouts, and 1 save to his record. So we're going to go through the starting lineup for Northern Highlands first. Leading things off and playing center field will be Billy Taylor. Billy Rose bats second and plays left. Alex Sanageri plays second base, batting third. Joey Gandolfo, the pitcher, bats fourth. Anthony Messina will DH and bat fifth. Kyle Koppel, the third baseman, hits sixth. Steve DeBella, the catcher, is up seventh. Batting eighth is Mark Rossi, the first baseman, and Glenn Cox bats ninth and plays right field. So that's the lineup Troy Zaffino is going to have to face today in order to send his team to the state semifinals. Going through the Hills defense real quick, Troy Zaffino on the hill. Jordan Kessel is going to be behind the plate. Kevin Solomon at first base. Steve Levenbrook at second. Chris Amato at short. Justin Avedizian at third base. Justin Farrella is going to play left field. Tyler Rubino in center. And Andrew Monahan in right. Steve Adesso will DH for Justin Farrella. So Nick, as the coaches meet at home plate for the ground rules, what stands out to you going into this game? How do you think Hills is going to come out of the gate, and are they focused for this one?
Yeah, they're going to come out fired up. I saw, the music's always playing right before the game. No really changes to this normal lineup, just some outfield stuff that gets changed every game. But this looks like pretty much their standard lineup that they've been winning with all year, so I'm looking for a good win by Hills today.
Yeah, that's a great point, Nick. This is their A lineup. They're not holding anything back today. Troy Zaffino's been pitching great recently. That's why he earns the start today. And Steve Levenbrook, like I said, is being saved for tomorrow's game, which is going to be the county quarterfinals. Hills is the 6th seed in that one. Pompton Lakes is the 3, and they'll be going up against one of the best pitchers in North Jersey, and Alex Ott. So that's going to be a battle tomorrow. But here we have the 9-seeded Patriots against the 16-seeded Northern Highlands team. Highlands upset the 1st-seeded Paramus squad in the opening round of this tournament. So Hills was expecting to have to go to Paramus in the second round, but instead they're going to get a home game here against Highlands. They beat Tenafly by a score of 12-2 in the opening round, so they came out into the tournament hot. They won their county game against Passaic County Tech 6-5 right here at this field. So as Hills gets ready to take the field, like I said, Troy Zaffino, the sophomore, will be on the mound. Hills starts a lot of sophomores. Andrew Monahan's in right, Steve Adesso's DH, and Chris Amato at short, Justin Avedisian at third. So 5 sophomores in the starting lineup today. So they're not sophomores anymore. They've been starting all year. And Paul, I mean, with all this inexperience, do you think that's going to be a factor in a playoff game? Because, yeah, they've had first-round games so far, but this is the first big game that these sophomores are playing in.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they're a little nervous about it. I mean, anybody would be nervous on their first big game like this. But, I mean, it's all mental when you think about it that way, because if they were smart, they just would think of this as any other game.
I talked to Steve before the game. He looks ready as anything. He's getting the start at DH. Andrew always looks ready to play. Justin Avedisian, he started the season at JV. Now he's earned his position as a varsity player. I know he's always ready. Chris Amato looks good. And Troy, I know he's been pitching all year. He looks good. These sophomores, you can't really even call them sophomores anymore. They're juniors now, and I think that they're going to be ready for this game.
Yeah, like I said, these kids they're sophomores, but they're experienced sophomores. They've played all year. I mean, you look at their numbers; they have just as many at bats as the seniors on this team. You look at Andrew Monahan, 65 at bats; Troy Zaffino, 63; Steve Adesso, 32; Chris Amato, 37. So they've had their fair share of varsity experience. So I don't think the nerves are going to be too much of a factor today. So we'll see how Hills does defensively. They kind of have the reputation of being a team that can really hit and drive in a ton of runs, but they're a little shaky defensively. That's kind of the reputation that they've earned over the years. And this year's team hopefully can change that and prove that they play good defense as well. Of course, Kevin Solomon is the leader of this team, batting .481 on the year. He'll be playing Division I baseball for UConn next year. He's a great defensive first baseman as well, so he's looking to lead this Patriot team into the semifinals of the state tournament, which of course is the round that they got to last year with a load of seniors on that team, and they lost in the semifinals to Sparta by a score of 4-2 in that game. So if they win today, they'll at least match their finish from last season with all the sophomores. That'd be a great accomplishment. So they high five in the middle of the infield, and we're just about ready to get things underway here from Wayne Hills. You see the starting pitcher today, Troy Zaffino, number 6. 2-1 on the season, as I said. Jordan Kessel will be behind the plate. And leading things off for Northern Highlands will be Billy Taylor, number 31, batting lefty. Troy features a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup, the typical arsenal for Wayne Hills pitchers. He's able to throw all 3 for strikes, which is why he's been successful at this level. So Taylor steps in, and we're just about ready to get things underway. Troy's first pitch is fouled back to the screen, so we're underway here from Wayne Hills. First pitch was a fastball from Zaffino, and Taylor fouled it off.
Catching bullpens for Troy. He's got a dart fastball. It's fast. Not really a lot of movement on it, but he could throw a 2-seam in there. His curveball is his best pitch by far that I've seen, though. It's got a nice drop off it. It drops right off the tables, so we're going to see if he uses that a lot in this game.
Now, Troy doesn't have a big curveball, but it is sharp. I mean, it breaks late and it breaks hard. And he throws another fastball in the inside corner for strike 2. So Zaffino gets ahead on Taylor, 0-2 to start the game. And what the luck that you guys at home have is that Nick and I are both catchers in this program. We're playing at the JV level, so we've caught all these kids before. we practice with these kids on a daily basis, so we know their games and we know how they've been doing this year. So the 0-2 pitch was up and away. Troy wasting a curveball on 0-2. The 1-2 delivery, curveball just outside. Home plate umpire didn't even flinch, but Hills wanted that call.
With umpires, my thing with them is if they're consistent, I really don't have a problem with them. But if they're going to be switching up calls, calling that a ball one play and then a strike the next play, then I'm going to have a problem with it. I'm going to say something.
Line drive into left field from Billy Taylor. So Taylor sneaks it past Justin Avedisian on the opening at bat, and Highlands gets a runner on first with nobody out to start things off here in the first.
I think they handled that first hit well. I mean, sure he got on base, but at least they were able to handle it, and you can tell that they weren't nervous. They stayed pretty uniform.
Troy's an emotional guy. He can't let that one hit phase, and they're gonna have to look for the double play on this. Levenbrook and Amato working together in the middle. That'll be a good combination for it.
Levenbrook, the experienced senior second baseman on this Wayne Hills baseball team, very good defensively, and he's also hitting pretty well this year, batting .286. And Jordan Kessel behind the plate has a pretty good arm, so we'll see if Taylor goes batting leadoff. You'd expect him to have some speed. Troy tries the pickoff move, and Taylor gets back in plenty of time. Taylor is a shorter kid, doesn't look to be a senior. I mean, we don't have full roster, so we couldn't tell you what grade he's in, but chances are he has some speed. He doesn't have too big of a leadoff first. Troy's fastball way outside, 1-1 now on Billy Rose, the left fielder in today's game. First right-handed hitter Troy has seen today. The outfield playing pretty much straight up all around. Troy tries to pick off Taylor again. Taylor had to dive back, but again, made it in plenty of time. One and one on Rose. Troy working from the set. Fastball in the dirt, ball 2. So Troy falls behind the hitter for the first time today.
Practicing with Kevin Solomon and Troy, I know that Kevin has one of the fastest tags at first base I've seen, so the pickoff is a definite possibility.
That's always a nice luxury to have, a first baseman you can trust over there. And even if you don't have full confidence in your pickoff move, you have confidence in the guy over there at first base to be able to bring it in no matter where you throw it. And, of course, the tag very important if you want to get somebody out.
Kevin Solomon is only his second or third year playing first base. He was an outfielder up to this point, but Hills wanted to find a place for him to play junior year, and it seemed like first base was the only place they could fit him in.
Well, Kevin moved to the outfield for his sophomore year because his hitting was just too good to keep him out of the varsity order. So they put him out in left field, and last year as a junior they moved him back to his natural position of first base, and he's been there ever since. So Troy behind 3-1 now on Billy Rose. He's going to look over to Taylor again. Obviously the scouting report on Taylor is that he will run.
Correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I believe Kevin's playing outfield at UConn. Is he gonna?
I really don't know, Nick. I'd have to ask him. I've assumed he was going to play first, but I guess not. So Troy gets the call there on the outside corner on the fastball, so it's full now on Rose.
He'll just got to keep an eye on that guy on first. It looks like he's going to just keep trying to steal.
Well, they've definitely kept him as close as possible. Troy's thrown over about 3 or 4 times in this at-bat. And here he goes again. Taylor not even diving this time. A huge crowd here today, especially on the Northern Highlands side. A little surprised to see that because Highlands isn't the closest place, a good 25, 30 minutes away. So they've shown up here in full force. Taylor finally goes, and they're going to call ball 4, so disregard that throw. It doesn't matter. So Troy walks Billy Rose, and right away here in the first, Highlands threatening with runners on first and second and nobody out.
Again, Troy can't let this affect him. He's just got to keep throwing strikes. I mean, you've never seen Highlands play before, so you got to assume that this 3-hitter can hit it deep. As you see, Rubino's backing up a little bit there. So they're definitely going to have to play deep and play no doubles territory.
Well, the 3-hitter is number 12, Alex Sanageri. He's the second baseman, not the biggest kid in the world. He's a lefty. So he's not the most intimidating presence in the box, but if it's the 3-hitter, you got to move back a little bit, but obviously not the position Hills wants to be in here in the first. Troy, after getting ahead on Taylor, has fallen behind on the next 2 hitters, and obviously throwing strikes is a must in a playoff atmosphere. The 1-0 bounce down the first baseline, foul. So Troy going primarily fastballs here in the get-go. Threw a couple curveballs. I haven't really noticed too many changeups so far, but like we said, Troy's got 3 pitches to work with, and that's always much better than 2, that's for sure. Troy looks over to second at Taylor, so he's not just a threat to steal second, but a threat to steal third. Definitely keeping a close eye on him as Chris Amato sneaks over a little bit.
I was going to say the scouting report on this Taylor kid must have been very fast because they've picked him off almost 5 or 6 times so far.
Or at least tried to pick him off as the next pitch is in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Sanageri.
You know, it could really be a problem for our pitcher to keep an eye on the guy on second, you know, because you got to make sure that he doesn't steal, and you also got to keep an eye on the batter.
Yeah, Troy's definitely going to have to keep his focus on the hitters as he keeps looking over, and that fly ball drops in. Justin Ferrarella couldn't get there in time as it snuck in fair down that left field line. They're going to hold Taylor at third. So fortunate for Hills that they didn't force the issue there on Ferrarella, who doesn't have the greatest of arms out there in left. So now Highlands, bases loaded, nobody out. A huge opportunity for them here in the very first inning for their starting pitcher, Joey Gandolfo, who steps in now, the cleanup hitter. This is the exact situation you want to put your 4-hitter in. Bases loaded, nobody out. Your best hitter at the plate, and Hills is in a tough situation here with bases loaded. They're going to play the middle back, looking to turn 2. Corners will play up. Troy's delivery, fastball, strike 1 down the middle on the first pitch. So Highlands threatening big time here in the first, and Ferrarella has a lot of speed out there in left, but just couldn't get to that one in time.
What I've heard about this Northern Highlands team is that they're a small ball team. You know, as you've seen so far, not many of these guys are big, overpowering guys. So they're going to look to bunt, sack flies, sack ground balls just to get 1 or 2 runs across, and that might be all they need, depending on how good their pitching is.
Well, pitching's always a key come playoff time. You always need a good performance from your starter if you want to win. The 1-1 from Zaffino, line into right field, a base hit for Gandolfo. Monahan coming into play at the runners coming from home. Solomon's going to cut it off, won't make a throw to home, and Joey Gandolfo with a clutch 2-run single in the top of the first, and Highlands goes on top 2-0.
He just stayed on that ball really well, hit it right where Levenbrook wasn't. Monahan was playing deep, so that's what let the run score. But in that situation, I don't blame him for playing deep because, you know, there's a 4th hitter up. You don't know where he's going to hit it.
So not the start Zaffino and the Patriots wanted. They're going to have to get their bats moving now in the bottom of the first. Already down 2-0 and still nobody out. And Nick, you mentioned this is a small ball team, but they have a lot of lefties. 4 out of the 5 batters here have been left-handed hitters as they're going to get a courtesy runner for the pitcher. But Highlands coming out with 3 hits here in the first, and they've yet to be retired. We're going to get a courtesy runner over there at first for Gandolfo, who will now get his mindset ready for the mound. This is the DH, Anthony Messina, hitting for Gandolfo's younger brother, Tony, who plays shortstop. Fastball inside from Zaffino. So Troy already up to 20 pitches in this inning. This will be the 20th. And still yet to retire a batter. The 1-0 line into left field, another base hit. Ferrarella charging, they're going to hold the runner at third. So 4 hits now in the inning for the Highlanders, and they have bases loaded with nobody out again.
Troy's just finding way too much of the plate for this Northern Highlands ball club. They see one over the plate. They're just, so far they've hit every pitch that they've seen over the plate, to my knowledge.
I mean, they're showing why they upset the #1 seeded Paramus team. And they've come out hot again here in the quarterfinals.
Still in the first inning, John. This Wayne Hills lineup has proved to be a great lineup all year. You got Solomon, Kessel. Most of these players have the power to put it out. It's just going to be how much aluminum they could get on the ball.
Absolutely, this is a great hitting team, and obviously nothing's decided in the first inning. But right now for Zafino, you got to try to limit the damage, stop the bleeding, and keep it here at 2 if you can. This is going to be the 6th hitter now, Kyle Koppel, the third baseman. Just the second right-handed batter Zafino's seen in this first inning. Zafino going to stay in the stretch with bases loaded. Curveball, swing and a miss from Koppel. So Zafino going first pitch curveball, and he fooled Kyle Koppel on the first pitch.
Looks like our pitcher's definitely is keeping his cool right now. I mean, he's already thrown a couple good pitches after having been scored runs on us. So maybe he can keep this constant throughout the game.
Troy's a pretty even-keeled kid. He throws another curveball there on the outside corner. So Zafino with 2 curveballs to start off the at-bat, and he gets ahead 0-2.
What I've noticed from these hits so far, they've all been on fastballs. Troy's got to utilize his curveball because it's a great curveball from what I've seen catching it.
That's a great point, Nick. He does have a good curveball. There you go again. Another curveball, and they're going to say Koppel went around. So Troy strikes out Kyle Koppel on 3 straight curveballs, the third one being in the dirt. All Kessel had to do was step on the plate. So Zafino gets the first out, and that's a big one because now the middle of the infield can play back and hope for the double play to get out of the inning. So a big strikeout there from Troy Zafino. 1 out now with bases still loaded.
Great play by Kessel there, keeping that in front of him.
Another curveball misses outside.
One thing many people don't know about catchers is it's a lot easier than just catching and throwing. You got to keep the ball in front of you because you're responsible for that run on third.
No question about that. Speaking of catchers, the hitter here is catcher Steve DeBella, the 7 hitter on this team. Zafino's 1-0. Another off-speed pitch. A strike this time. Kept that one down. And DeBella took it for strike 1. Fastball outside. Misses low. 2-1 now. So you definitely don't want to get to that 3-ball count because then you got to groove one to prevent walking in a run. And one thing Highlands has taken advantage of is the hole in the third base side because with runners on second, Chris Amato has had to stay over by that base the whole time, and they've hit a few balls through that hole already in this inning. Troy misses high again on a fastball. 3-1, and now Zafino's in a world of trouble as he's going to have to throw a strike here to DeBella. The 3-1 from Zafino. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 2. So a big pitch coming here from Troy Zafino. Full count, 1 out, bases loaded here in the first. Highlands already with 2 runs in. The 3-2. Curveball on the outside corner, strike 3. Another big curveball from Troy Zafino, and he strikes out Steve DeBella to get the second out of the inning.
You know, I think this could be a little small victory that they can use to, you know, boost their morale a little bit, you know, get them going.
I mean, if Troy can get out of this inning with just 2 runs, that's huge after Highlands had the bases loaded with nobody out in this very same situation. Another curveball misses low, according to the home plate umpire. That was to the first baseman, Mark Rossi, who hits now.
Ever since Troy's been going to the curveball, he's been getting the Ks on the hitters. Seems like they could only hit the fastball. They haven't proved to hit a curveball yet.
I mean, that's true for a lot of high school hitters. They sit dead red as much as they can and try to react to the off speed as Troy sneaks in a fastball there on the outside corner to get even 1-1. Curveball fouled back to the net. So Troy ahead now on Rossi. 1 pitch away from getting out of a huge jam. Troy holds his set. 2-2. Fastball up and away, ball 2. Troy doing a good job of tuning out the claps from the runner on third base. He's been trying to distract Troy the whole at-bat. The last couple at-bats, actually. That's Sonageri over there at third. The 2-2 curveball grounded to third. Justin Avedisian fields it and steps on third. So after Northern Highlands scored 2 runs but nobody out, Troy Zaffino is able to limit the damage and get out of a huge bases-loaded nobody-out jam and hold Highlands to 2. That's a huge inning from Troy.
Yeah, even though he got those 3 hits on, gave up 2 runs, he had to get out of that inning with less than 3 runs if Hills wanted to have their confidence up for this next at-bat.
I mean, that was absolutely huge for Troy to get out of that jam, because 2-0 is nothing Hills can't come back from, but it could have been a lot worse right there, and Troy did a great job to make the pitches he needed to make, and Justin Avedisian making that play over there at third, and Hills comes up just down by 2 here in the bottom of the first. They'll get their first look at Highlands' starter Joey Gandolfo, the left-hander. Running through Hills' batting order, it goes like this, leading things off and pitching Troy Zaffino. Senior second baseman Steve Levenbrooks bats second. Kevin Solomon, the first baseman, will hit third. The catcher Jordan Kessel bats fourth. Justin Avedisian, who you just saw made that play at third, bats fifth. The center fielder Tyler Rubino hits sixth. Andrew Monahan, the right fielder's up seventh. Steve Adesso DHing will hit eighth for Justin Ferrarello, who's our left fielder today. Chris Amato plays shortstop and bats ninth. So Zaffino will have a chance to make up for his rough inning pitching-wise here, as he'll lead off the first against Gandolfo. So, Nick, watching Gandolfo warm up, I mean, what kind of approach does Hills have to have at the plate today?
They got to know how to hit a lefty. You're going to have a looping curveball for most of them coming in on you. For the lefties, it's going to be a tough challenge for them to hit. You mentioned that the first 4 out of the 5 batters for Northern Highlands were lefties, but I only see 2 lefties in the field. A big advantage for a baseball player is if you throw righty and bat lefty. You have the gift of being able to play most positions on the diamond, or all positions for that matter, and then you get what baseball players call an advantage of batting lefty.
Now, I bat lefty and throw righty, and I mean, when you're a left-handed batter, facing a right-handed pitcher is supposed to be an advantage, and I mean, I can't tell, I've batted lefty my whole life, but it's definitely thought to be an advantage batting lefty and throwing right-handed, as Zaffino is righty both ways, as most people are, so he'll lead off here against Gandolfo, the lefty. Rumors are that Gandolfo has a nasty curveball, and yesterday in practice we worked on the curveball machine, making sure that everyone was comfortable sitting back and driving that curveball to the opposite field. The first pitch from Gandolfo is a fastball, and Zaffino takes it for strike 1. So as Zaffino did in the first inning, Gandolfo gets ahead on the leadoff hitter. Fastball away for ball 1, so Zaffino evens the count. Gandolfo looked like a cutter that time, maybe a little bit of a sinker. Throws it for a strike on the outside corner, so Gandolfo keeping the ball down here in the first 3 pitches. The 1-2. Fastball fouled back by Troy. Good job of protecting. So Gandolfo going all fast pitches here in the early going, maybe trying to set up the breaking ball here. As the wind has picked up here a little bit. Been a calm day all day, a warm day. 1-2 outside. But it's cooled down a little bit here as we come around 5 o'clock now. And the wind's picked up, so that could definitely be a factor on fly balls to the outfield. The 2-2 fouled off. So Troy putting together a nice at-bat here.
No off speeds thus far from Gandolfo. Wonder if he's trying to save it for one of the big hitters like Kevin Solomon and Jordan Kessel, or if he doesn't feel he needs it against Troy Zaffino, the sophomore.
And when you see 6 fastballs to start things off in the at-bat, it's always in the back of your mind that he can break out a breaking ball at any point. The 2-2 off speed, there it is. Troy drives it to right field down the line. Coming over is the right fielder to make the catch. Glenn Cox on the play, and Zaffino puts together a nice at-bat, but can't get that one in. Can't get that one to drop in down the right field line, so the first out awarded to Gandolfo.
He can't really let that get him down. I mean, like, we saw the outfield warming up, and it really looks like they have some skill. So, you really can't blame them for that.
Yeah, Troy can't let his at-bats get to his head. As long as he throws a good game, everyone's going to be happy with his performance. Fastball away on Leavenbrook, ball 1.
I know the last game that Troy pitched, Coach Ionella DH for him, and that just so he wouldn't get heated about his at-bats and it affect his pitching. But we saw Troy against against Kearney. He hit a home run, so you can't keep him out of the lineup after that.
Yeah, Troy having a good season at the plate as a sophomore, batting .397 with 2 home runs and 20 RBIs, 5 doubles, 2 triples, .635 slugging percentage for Zaffino on an on-base percentage over .500. So he's had a great season at the plate as well as on the mound. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Leavenbrook goes down on strikes. So Gandolfo retires the first 2 batters he faces, and now he'll have to go up against Kevin Solomon, who is the leader of this team, batting .481 on the year. Solomon, the lefty hitter, so we get a lefty-lefty matchup here. Gandolfo's first pitch is a breaking ball inside on Solomon, and that's probably the approach that a lot of pitchers take against Kevin, trying to throw him as much junk as they can because they know he's going to tee off on a fastball. The 1-0, another breaking ball inside. They're going to give Gandolfo the call this time, so he evens the count at 1-1.
Kevin Solomon is Hill's go-to man. He's their best hitter on this team. He's the senior leader.
There's a fastball. It's outside, 2-1. I mean, Kevin wouldn't be batting .481 if he couldn't hit a breaking ball, because I'm sure a lot of pitchers have thrown tons of them to him this year. 2-1. Rips to third base. An error made by the third baseman. So Kevin will get on first, and he's going to look to go to second. He makes a big turn, but he stops at first. So Kevin hit it hard. It'll most likely be an error on the third baseman. That was Kyle Koppel on the mistake. So Solomon gets on first for the cleanup hitter, Jordan Kessel. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Ionella puts on a steal here. Solomon's got good speed. He's just a good base runner in general. But with Jordan Kessel, the power hitter that he is, I mean, Solomon could be in scoring position already.
One thing that inches me away from them giving the steal is this lefty with a lefty pickoff move they're going to have to look at first.
That's a very good point, Nick. Is Solomon had a pretty healthy lead there on the opening pitch, but you definitely have to be wary of that lefty move. The 0-1 in the dirt, gets past the catcher, so Solomon will move to second. So a very important wild pitch there is now Hills gets a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Kessel, the cleanup hitter, a .378 hitter with 4 homers, 27 RBI. So Kessel's definitely, you have to say, the second best hitter on this team after Solomon. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 2. So Jordan will have to protect now with 2 strikes. One, 2, grounded into the hole. It'll get through. Kevin Solomon being rounded around third. He'll score. The throw goes back to home plate. Jordan's going to be able to go to second. So a comedy of mistakes from Northern Highlands in the field, and Hills takes advantage of it and pulls to within a 1-run deficit.
Jordan not being the fastest kid here, you're going to see Joe Ramadan, the junior, come in and run for him. That's a rule in baseball. You could courtesy run for the catcher so he could get ready faster, speed the game up. But great hit by Jordan Kessel, and then just a simple mistake by the right fielder, not hitting your cutoff man. Let him move to second in scoring position for Justin Avedisian.
I mean, they might be little mistakes, but 3 mistakes from Highlands on the defensive side, and Hills has taken advantage. He started off with Koppel making the error on third on Solomon's grounder, then the ball getting past the catcher, Solomon being able to move into scoring position, and then the right fielder, I mean, what was he doing? Solomon was 3/4 of the way down the line before the right fielder even picked up the ball, and he just airmailed that one into the fence behind home plate, and I don't care how slow you are, you're going to be able to make it on to second on that. So just like that, Hills with another runner in scoring position now after Kessel with the clutch single. The batter's Justin Avedisian, another sophomore in the starting lineup. Again, Gandolfo falls behind.
This Wayne Hills team being good this year is going to be great for years to come. You see the excuse me, the starting lineup made up of mostly sophomores and juniors, with the exception of Steve Levenbrook, Jordan Kessel, and Kevin Solomon. I'm really excited to play for this team and hopefully win a state championship junior senior year.
3-0 on Avedisian. He was called up midway through the season after an unfortunate incident with Richie Mertrud getting hurt. Avedisian works out the walk. So it'll be first and second now for Hills. For Tyler Rubino, the center fielder. Rubino coming in with a .293 average.
I was talking about in the pregame with Tyler Rubino having to come up big in situations. He's got 2 men on for him, 1 man in scoring position. He's got to have a great hit here. Single brings in Joe Ramadan. Joe Ramadan's a fast kid. Possibly moves Justin Avedisian to third.
This is your key player, Nick, so we'll see if he can come through. He's got a big at-bat here in the first. First and second, 2 outs. Gandolfo's delivery just missed inside, ball 1. Rubino third on the team in at-bat, so he's got his fair share of playing time this year with 12 RBIs, 8 strikeouts, 6 walks. So Gandolfo issues a strike. 1-1 on Rubino. Gandolfo up to 26 pitches already in the inning. Zaffino threw 34 in the first, so both pitchers getting their fair share of work. Pop up on the infield. It's a soft one, and they're able to make the play for the third out. So a little dinker caused a little bit of trouble there for Highlands' defense, but Koppel able to make up for his error earlier, and he makes the falling catch to retire Hills. So that'll do it for the first inning of play, with Highlands leading Hills by a score of 2-1. So both pitchers worked their way in and out of trouble there in the first.
Unfortunate for Hills, they couldn't get one more run out of that jam and tie him up, but definitely a great first inning. You see both senior leaders just taking initiatives and taking this game into their own hands, both getting hits. Jordan Kessel with an RBI.
It looks like at this point the game can go either way. I mean, we've seen both good and bad points from both Hills and Highland. But, you never really know how it's going to turn out. I mean, you really can't predict it at this point in time.
I mean, you have to feel fortunate if you're Wayne Hills right now to only be down by 1 after Highlands put up 4 hits in the first. Zaffino was able to get a couple of key strikeouts with bases loaded to weather the storm. Then you get basically handed a run there in the bottom of the first. I mean, Kessel did have a very clutch single, but three mistakes by Highlands' defense, and Hills is very much in this game, obviously only down by 1.
I'm looking forward to see what Troy changes this inning. Last inning wasn't looking too good in the beginning of the inning, getting bases loaded, no outs. So we're going to see what Coach Rella possibly said to him, who's the pitcher coach, excuse me. So we're going to see what Coach Rella said to him, maybe changed up something in his delivery, possibly call more curveballs, but we're going to see this inning.
Well, Troy very much would like to have a quick inning here. He threw 34 pitches in the first, faced 8 hitters, so he's going to face the 9, 1, and 2 batters this inning. Glenn Cox, the right fielder, is going to lead things off for Northern Highlands. Highlands coming in with a record of 12-12 on the year. Curveball from Zaffino for a strike. So like Nick said, Troy with a very good curveball, and he's going to have to throw that one for a strike today because Highlands has teed off on his fastball so far. The 0-1 from Zaffino. Another off-speed pitch, grounded to Avedisian at third. Going to throw across the diamond to Solomon at first. So a nice play there from the Hills infield to get the first out of the inning.
We just saw a little bit of Hills acting very proactively. They handled that very well, and yeah.
Avedisian did a good job of charging that ball and get it on the hop to avoid a bad hop. Made that throw across the diamond. So we'll head back to the top of the order now for Billy Taylor, who caused a bunch of problems for Wayne Hills in the first inning. He singled and then was able to get around the bases to score, but drew a lot of attention from Zaffino on the base passes. Maybe threw Troy's attention off the hitter a little bit, but I don't know what it was, but they were paying a lot of attention to Taylor on the base paths, so they'd love to keep him off the bases here. Taylor shows bunt and pulls it back, and Zaffino misses low and in. So Taylor gets ahead now 2-0.
Whenever someone's bunting with no men on, you can tell that they have some speed, so maybe Troy's pickoffs were justified in the first inning.
Fastball fouled back.
Billy Taylor also being the center fielder, if you're an outfielder, you're going to have some speed in the outfield to track down fly balls. Being the leadoff hitter, he's got some speed and he's got a good on-base percentage. So Billy Taylor looks like he's a good, fast player.
And a good guy to have in your leadoff hole as well. Line drive into left field, so Taylor continuing to put on a show as he's now 2 for 2 off Zaffino. So a 1-out single for Highlands, and they have a runner on with 1 out.
That was a big out for Zaffino to get. Again, mentioning Billy Taylor's speed on the base pass. Excuse me. Now Troy's going to have to take a little bit of his attention off the hitter to make sure Billy Taylor doesn't get too far of a lead.
Rose will come up. This is Billy Rose, the left fielder. Walked and scored in the first inning. Zaffino with another attempt to try to keep Taylor close. We've seen him do that several times already in the first 2 innings. Troy throws home and misses low with the fastball. Taylor with a medium lead, not too threatening. Curveball in the dirt. Good job by Kessel to get in front of that one. Keep Taylor over there at first. Jordan, a very good defensive catcher, especially with his blocking skills. He's got a pretty good arm, too. Just a good, fundamentally sound defensive catcher to complement his great hitting. Fastball on the outside corner. Nice pitch from Troy. Zaffino, another quick move over to the first. Taylor just with too small of a lead to get picked off at this point. He's not taking too large of a step off first. Troy keeping an eye on him. The 2-1. Ground ball in the hole between first and second. Levenbrook's going to field it. His only play is the first. Makes the throw. So that's the second out there as Taylor moves over to second. So with a runner on second and 2 outs, it'll be the number 3 hitter, Alex Sanageri.
Good decision there by Levenbrook. It was a slow roller right to him. He saw that Billy Taylor had some speed, got by him. His only play was at first base and got the out.
Yeah, Taylor got a good jump off first, and that ball was hit way too softly to try to turn 2. So now a big RBI chance for Sanageri. Curveball in there for strike 1. Always important to get ahead of the hitter on the first pitch. Sanageri, one of 5 or 6 lefties in this starting lineup. Another curveball on the inside corner, 0-2. So Troy is spotting his curveball, and that is why he's been able to battle through the situations he's put himself in.
John, you looking for Troy to waste a pitch here?
Absolutely, a 0-2. Kessel sets up outside, fastball high. I mean, as a catcher, I always look to set up way outside on 0-2, almost in the opposite batter's box if possible.
Worst thing you could do is have the batter get a hit 0-2 off a missed spot or a pitch right over the middle.
Absolutely. Curveball misses high from Troy, so Sanageri working into 2-2 now. Amato breaks toward the bag and backs off now. The 2-2 up and away, ball 3. So Troy, after being ahead 0-2, has worked it full. With the base open at first, I don't think Troy would be too interested in walking Sanageri because Gandolfo had a nice rip into right field to score 2 in the first inning.
The only disadvantage I can see with wasting a pitch is what we're seeing happen right now is you get out of your groove and then you can't find it until either it's a full count or it's the next batter, which is too late.
Good point, Nick. I mean, maybe that waste pitch threw him off a little bit. Pop up goes foul there on 3-2, so they'll do it again. Troy gets the sign, the payoff pitch. Fastball misses inside. So a good at bat from Alex Sonageri, and he works out the walk. So 2 men on with 2 outs for the pitcher, Joey Gandolfo, who already has 2 RBIs today.
Troy's going to have to look to give Gandolfo a couple more curveballs this at bat. If I'm correct, his last at bat, he got the hit off the fastball. So we're going to look for Troy to throw maybe all curveballs this at bat. We'll see, though.
Troy's second walk through 2 innings. He's going to have to try to limit those as best he can, as Jordan Kessel's going to go out now to calm down his sophomore pitcher who's lost a little bit now. 5 of the last 6 pitches have been balls, most of them missing up and away. 52 pitches already for Troy here after just an inning and 2/3.
Way too much for a game like this. We have a motto in relief, but we really wanted Troy to go
As far as he could.
Yeah, maybe the 6th inning, bring Chris in to close, but it doesn't look like that with Troy already having 54 pitches.
The 1-0 misses again, low and in. 2-0, and after Troy looked to be in control with 2 outs and 1 man on, he's starting to labor a little bit here in the second. 2-0 curveball. Missed somewhere. I don't know where, but that's ball 3, and now Jafino way behind. Fastball missed. Oh, they're going to call it a strike. Gandolfo started to walk into first. A late call from the home plate umpire. 3-1 now on Gandolfo.
Maybe the umpire realizing mistake from the last pitch, giving Troy that one as a gift, because to me that looked inside.
Curveball bounced to second. Levenbrook stabs at it, makes the play, and throws the first in time. So Alex Sonageri doing his best job to throw off Levenbrook's concentration, but he hangs with it and makes the big play there with 2 outs to get Zafino out of the inning.
Again, Troy Zafino getting out of trouble. If he's going to keep doing that, Hills has a good chance to win, but the second he gets into trouble and gives up a few runs, that's going to be Hills' kryptonite.
So Zafino somehow getting through those 2 long innings with only 2 runs allowed. So Hills will come back up to bat now, down by 1. They'll have their 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Monahan, Adesso, and Amato in this inning.
It looks like at this point Hills just has to keep consistent defense and play a bit more of an aggressive offense.
Yeah,
what we need right now is just to score, 2 more runs just to get ourselves past the Highlands. And then, keep it more, like I said, keep it consistent defense, and, we got a shot.
as John mentioned before, Hills is known for maybe making a bit too many errors in the field, but their bats are definitely things that keep them in games. But, Paul, you're right. If Hills is going to want to win this game, they're going to need to play flawless defense.
And so far, they've been very good in the field. Levenbrook's made a couple plays. Justin Avedisian has made a couple plays. So nothing to complain about defensively, but Troy's been battling, but he's given up already in this game. 5 hits and 2 walks.
Big thing to look at Troy is his pitch count. John,
56.
56 now. 56 through 2 innings is not what you would call an average pitch count. The average is usually, you want to get 16, 18 pitches, not even 18, 16 pitches an inning is about what you want to aim for.
Or less if you can. So Andrew Monahan leading things off for the Patriots here in the bottom of the second, down 2-1. Monahan at 246 for the year, 3 doubles, 1 triple. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. Nice pitch from Gandolfo. Nothing Monahan could do with that one. The 0-1 fastball misses outside. Monahan fouls that one back. So Gandolfo ahead 1-2. Doing a good job of getting ahead of these Wayne Hills hitters so far today. He's only gotten to 3 balls on 1 hitter, and that was Avedisian who he walked. Ball 2 misses. Fastball in the dirt, almost hit Monahan. So Andrews worked it full now.
Ball 4, base hit. Let's go.
Gandolfo seems to be this team's #1 player, so deep counts are what Hills wants. Get him out of the game early, hopefully face their #2, who probably isn't nearly as good.
Ball misses outside, so Gandolfo walks the second batter in just over 1 inning. So Monahan, the leadoff guy, gets on base for Steve Adesso, the designated hitter today. That's Monahan's 9th walk on the season. So Monahan with pretty good speed over there at first. Adesso, the batter now, DHing for left fielder Justin Fararella. First pitch on the outside corner, strike 1. Monahan with 3 stolen bases on the year. Adesso swinging and miss, 0-2 now.
Big thing to look at, John. Andrew 3 for 3 with stolen base attempts, so he hasn't got caught yet.
He has not. Perfect on the year. The 0-2 to Adesso. Fastball up and away, ball 1. But like you said earlier, Nick, with the lefty move, it's going to be hard to get a good jump off Gandolfo. If you want to steal, your best chance is to go on first move and take a chance that Gandolfo doesn't throw over. Goes home, swinging and miss from Adesso. High fastball, got Steve chasing. And that'll be the first out of the inning for Wayne Hills, as shortstop Chris Amato will come up to hit now.
The big thing with first move is that's also might force the pitcher to balk if they get mixed up in their head whether to throw over, whether to go to first, so you might end up getting a free pass.
Now, from what I've heard, Gandolfo is pitching on 3 days rest, and he is their ace, as Nick mentioned, as Amato fouls one back. So he pitched in the first game of this state tournament and beat the #1 seed Paramus team. So obviously Gandolfo has good stuff. So it's gonna be up to the Hills hitters to do their best against him, because he's not the easiest guy to hit off of, although we have seen Solomon and Kessel rip a couple. The 0-1, Amato rips it foul into the stands. So again, Gandolfo getting ahead on these Wayne Hills hitters. The 0-2 fastball on the outside corner, strike 3. Amato upset with himself as he watched that one grooved on the outside corner. So Amato goes down looking, back-to-back strikeouts for Gandolfo. And now Monahan still on first base with 2 outs for Troy Zaffino, the leadoff hitter.
Come on, Troy.
Wayne Hills, we mentioned it before, having this state quarterfinal game today. They also have a county game tomorrow.
And Monahan's picked off the throw in time to get him at second. Andrew thought he might have gotten under the tag, but there we go, going on first move like we mentioned. And Gandolfo read it and threw over to first in time. And they were able to complete the putout to get Monahan. So not the worst time to get thrown out, because you're trying to get the guy into scoring position with your leadoff hitter at the plate. So that'll do it for 2 innings of play, with Northern Highlands leading Wayne Hills 2-1. We'll be back with more baseball after this.
And here comes Ricky off to a good start with the salad and Elmu milk. He's going for the nacho cheese chips. Oh, and he puts them back and goes for the classics. An interesting choice there.
Looks like he wants to eat more healthy today, John. And now it looks like he's going to get a cookie.
Oatmeal.
Oh, baby, that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's nacho cheese, though.
Back here at Wayne Hills High School for the start of the 3rd inning of action, with Northern Highlands leading Wayne Hills 2-1. Zaffino will pitch to the 5-hitter, Anthony Messina, the designated hitter. Messina singled his first time up. Zaffino starts him off with a strike. The 0-1 foul back to the screen, so Zaffino getting ahead 0-2 on Messina, something we haven't seen him do too much in the first 2 innings.
back to what I was saying before, John, Wayne Hills with a county game tomorrow against Pompton Lakes, against the man who's going to UPenn, Alex Ott. Pompton Lakes is ace, one of the best pitchers in New Jersey, possibly. So they definitely have a lot on their plate for this weekend. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend, though, so it's going to be definitely a test for Wayne Hills to see how good they do.
It's really going to be an issue for the Wayne Hills coaches to decide who's going to be playing today, because you don't want to overexert the players today and have them not doing so good tomorrow,
Yeah, definitely something Coach Ianello had to think about, and he decided to go with Zaffino today and Leavenbrook tomorrow. As Messina hit one hard up the middle, Amato was able to range over and get in front of it, but couldn't come up with the play. It'll be interesting to see whether that's a hit or an error, but nevertheless, Messina's on first base to lead off the third. So once again, Zaffino letting guys on base. Koppel shows bunt, and Troy throws it low for ball one. So Nick, what do you say? Error or hit there? What should I give him?
Chris had to go a long way for that one, almost right by second base. I'm giving him a hit on that. He had to field it across his body, something that infielders usually don't do.
Koppel puts down the bunt. It takes a crazy roll. Kessel's going to try to stick with it, but he can't do it. Just terrible luck from Wayne Hills as that ball hit a divot in the ground, bounced back, hit off the bat, and flew past Kessel, whose momentum was taking him the other way. Nothing Wayne Hills could do about that one. Just some absolutely terrible luck. So Koppel gets on. We're going to have to call that one a single. So it's a pair of tough left singles given up by Zaffino here to start off the third. And again, Highlands is threatening.
I said it before, Highlands can play small ball like with the best of them. They don't have the biggest players, so they're going to have to move their men over with bunts. And fortunately for them on that one, it ended up being a hit.
First pitch strike to Steve DeBella, who struck out looking his first time. One of two strikeouts Zaffino's had thus far. Zaffino takes a look over at Messina at second. Oh, 0-1 curveball, foul back, so Zaffino getting ahead on DeBella. Struck him out on a 3-2 pitch his first time up.
Setting Troy's doing a really great job of not getting behind hitters. He seems gone out 2 strikes to the first batter, 2 strikes to the second batter, and now he's on 2 strikes to this batter.
Just terrible luck. I can't say it enough. Very unfortunate are the Patriots. Kessel couldn't find it. It was right underneath him. Fortunately, Messina stayed over at second. Good waste pitch on 0-2, burying that curveball in the dirt, trying to get DeBella to chase, but he wasn't biting. The 1-2 fastball on the outside corner, strike 3. DeBella goes down looking for the second time today, and Troy has his third strikeout.
Painted the corner there by Troy Zaffino. Great job. Great hold there by Jordan Kessel, framing it to get the strike call.
So another huge strikeout from Troy. All 3 of his strikeouts today have been very clutch. Because now that with nobody out, Highlands could move the runners over and score without a hit. As Kessel blocks it, the runner goes to third, and the runner's in safely. So a very clutch base running job there from Anthony Messina, moving to third. Fortunately, Koppel held at first, so it's first and third, so the double play still in order for the Patriots. But now Highlands has a runner at third with just 1 out, so a fly ball could drive in a run. So Kessel was able to get in front of it and keep the ball in front of him, but it just got away too far. And Messina with a good secondary lead, and he took off for third without hesitation. That's why he made it. And now a wild pitch, as no one's going to go, as Messina's not going to go from third, but Koppel will move up to second. So Zaffino, that pitch wasn't even close. Falls behind 2-0, but more importantly, Koppel moves to second. So now Highlands with 2 men in scoring position with just 1 out.
Again with that waste pitch, Troy Zaffino losing some control. Now he's going to have to get back into a groove.
He could really use a strikeout again. The infield has moved up halfway. So a ground ball does not necessarily score a run. It probably won't score a run. And Troy does not get that call. I don't know where that curveball missed, but the umpire did not give him the call. But Levenbrook and Amato have moved up close to the lip, the near lip. And Avdisian and Solomon playing their normal positions. So they'll be able to have a play on Messina at home if Messina chooses to go. But with the infield in, you'd expect him to stay at third with just one out. The 3-0 misses outside. So not the worst walk if you're Zaffino, because now you have a force everywhere. So the infield can play a little bit back and still go home. But you'd expect the middle to move back to double play depth with one out.
Just no luck this inning for Troy Zaffino, that bunt being the biggest play of the inning. Right now it shows that would have been 2 outs, man on second. So no one knows how that inning would have turned out if that happened, but luckily enough for Northern Highlands, the ball hit a divot and just got away from Jordan Kessel.
I mean, that was just a crazy play. Something you normally don't have to endure over the course of a game. The field, your home field, helping out the opposing team, because that ball took a crazy hop. I don't think it had spin on it. I just think it hit a divot and then hit the bat. And there's just nothing Kessel could do with that ball, and it's put his pitcher in a lot of trouble now with bases loaded, one out. This is the 9-hitter Glenn Cox, the right fielder. And Cox hits this one down the right field line, and it's going to drop in, foul ball. So Hill's very fortunate that Cox couldn't straighten that one out. Monahan was not going to get to that one in time.
Highlands clearly has like the power behind the bat, but it doesn't seem like they're hitting it in the right spots half the time.
John, with me and you playing on this field, we know how bad it can get. Not what you would say the town's cleanest fielding field. A lot of bumps, a lot of bad hops in practice.
Yes, the infield, they do a good job of dragging the field as much as possible and keeping the hops true in the dirt area as Cox hits this one down the left field line, and this is going to be fair. 2 runs will score. Ferrarella plays it in. No play anywhere. So a big 2-run single from Glenn Cox, and Northern Highlands opens up a 4-1 lead.
You can just scratch that remark I said a little while ago.
Yeah, right down the left field line, that one, Northern Highlands hit it, and Justin Ferrarella just was playing where a regular left fielder would play, and you can't get to that ball.
So Troy getting knocked around in the biggest start of his baseball career. 7 hits now in 3 innings allowed to go with 3 walks. And Highlands still threatening. First and second, 1 out. And that's Taylor who showed bunt. They're going to say he fouled it off. I was scared for a second. I didn't know he got a piece of that. I thought it might have been another wild pitch. But it's 0-1 on Taylor.
Wayne Hills is going to have to make the decision quick on this one. If Taylor gets it down, we know Billy Taylor has speed, so they're either going to have to look first really quick, or if it's a good enough hit right back to Troy or maybe right to Jordan, they could go third.
Troy pickoff attempt to second, not in time. Amato's tag just a bit too late. Nice move from Zaffino, but Rossi was able to get back in time. No action in the bullpen so far from Wayne Hill, so it's Troy's game to win or lose right now. And so in the first 3 innings, he just hasn't been able to get these hitters out. He's run into a little bit of bad luck, but he's given up just a ton of singles. No extra base hits so far from Highlands, but they've just been able to string together some hits, and those 3 walks mixed in certainly haven't helped.
Walks will kill you as a pitcher. That's the one thing you want to avoid.
I mean, if they hit you, they hit you. You got to tip your cap sometimes, but you just can't. You can't give them free passes. And Zaffino's given him 3 so far in the opening 2 1/3. He's ahead 0-2 on Taylor. Taylor's third at bat in the game, and he rips another hit off of Amato's glove. Amato is leaping. They're going to send the runner home. The throw from Amato is not handled by Kessel, and the run will score. Runners move up to second and third, and things are falling apart for the Patriots.
Chris Amato just couldn't get up to get that one. He's a short kid nonetheless, though, but not going to mark that in there. But the throw after, it could have been a little higher for Kessel not to have to field it on the short hop.
I mean, I gave up on that hit. I thought it was ticketed for left center right off the bat, but Amato got up and got a good amount of the glove on it, just couldn't squeeze it. And it trickled into left field, and Amato's throw to the plate wasn't bad. It was just took a tough hop on Kessel and he couldn't handle it, allowing Rossi to score. It's now 5-1. They're going to have to keep the infield in with 1 out and runners on second and third as Troy throws ball 1 to Billy Rose, who's 0 for 1 on the day with a walk and a run.
The top of the order seems to be in Troy's kryptonite so far in this game. Billy Taylor so far is 3 for 3, John?
That's a foul ball. Taylor is 3 for 3.
Yeah, Taylor 3 for 3. Really been killing him with his speed and his bat we've seen.
1-1 now on Rose. Runners take their leads off second and third. With the infield in, the runner on second will get a nice little jump there. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 2 from Zaffino. So he is throwing strikes for the most part in this inning. Just hasn't been able to get the outs he's needed. 3 runs in already in the inning. Again, just trying to weather the storm and give his offense a chance against Gandolfo. And strike 3 called on the outside corner. Nice curveball from Zaffino there to get the huge strikeout. So now the infield can move back with 2 outs, and if Troy can get Sanageri, he'll limit the damage a little bit here in the third with 2 guys in scoring position.
Troy's strikeouts so far have been his savior. He gets in big jams, but he's able to strike out 1 or 2 batters to either let his infield play back or get them out of the inning.
So it's all up to Alex Sanageri. He can break this game open with a hit. But Troy can keep his team in it if he can get Sanageri out here. He's ahead 0-1. I mean, this is just a huge at-bat no matter how you look at it. Already down by 4, Hills has to hold him here. The 0-1 lined up the middle, base hit. Highlands scores 1 run. The second runner around third, Rubino won't have a play on him. The throw goes into second base. And Alex Sanageri with a huge clutch single. He's 2 for 2. And Highlands is now up 7-1.
You see Cotrella coming out now. One thing Hill's outfield possibly play in a little bit. There really haven't been any power shots to the outfield. Hopefully, excuse me, maybe outfield could play in, maybe get a play at the plate and save one of the runs.
I mean, that's a great point, Nick. Highlands has not rocked Troy by any means. It's been a ton of singles, grounders through the hole, some bad luck. Just really not much Hills' defense could do to help him out. And I agree, maybe move the outfielders in a little bit because, like you said, Highlands hasn't proved they can drive the ball. And just like that, Troy Zaffino is taken out of the game. We're going to see Chris Amato come in now, the guy who's been on call all day. He was the scheduled reliever for today's game, and he's going to have to go a good amount today. Troy only lasted 2 2/3 in this one. And his line is not pretty. So as Amato takes his warm-up tosses, we'll be back to see the conclusion of the third inning after this.
I've had Anthony Scadillo in baseball for a few years now. He's a pretty good runner on the base pass, but every now and again, he gets caught stealing. Scadillo, come back here.
If you're a Wayne Hills fan, you don't like that score you see there. Highlands up 7-1 on the Patriots. Chris Amato relieving Troy Zaffino, who did not have a good day at all. Zaffino lasting just 2 2/3 innings, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, but 10 hits, all of them singles, and some bad luck involved as Zaffino knocked out of the biggest start of his career in the third inning, and now Chris Amato's just got to do his best job of holding this Highlands team, because right now, I mean, it's all up to the Wayne Hills bats to try to get back in this one, and so Amato's going to have to do his best long relief effort. Fly ball down the left field line. Fararella coming over. I don't think he's going to have enough room. He slides, but it's out of play.
Not an easy position for Chris Amato to come into. He's up against Northern Highlands' number 4 hitter. He's got 1 man on and 2 outs is the only thing he could really look forward to.
This is the pitcher, Gandolfo. 2 outs, runner on first, so no one in scoring position for a team that's only hit singles today.
Really, you can't blame our new pitcher for being anxious. I mean, he's coming into a very unevenly scoring game, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's really, anxious. And
I know Chris Amato is a kid who loves baseball. He lives for the game, so I think he's ready. He's been ready for this start. Players were joking around with him in practice relief position. Players were joking around with him at practice that he was getting the start on Saturday, and I heard he was psyching himself out in lunch, so I can only imagine how excited he is to pitch right now.
And Chris has had a lot of success pitching this year in a limited role. 5 appearances. He did get 1 start against Otapan and pitched to Gem. Unfortunately, Hills wasn't able to pin that one down. But Amato on the season, 12 2/3 innings, a 1-0 record, 10 strikeouts. But get this, an ERA of 1.11. So Amato has had his success at the varsity level this year. Like I said, in a limited role, he's pitched in just 5 games and gotten 1 start. Ground ball to Levenbrook at second. He'll flip to second base, and Zaffino there to make the putout. So that'll do it for a very rough 3rd inning for Wayne Hills. Amato gets the team out of the inning, but a tough day from Troy Zaffino, and Hills' bats are going to have to wake up now, down by 6.
Chris Amato may not pitch the fastest, but I know him in the bullpen as he has 4 pitches. He got a sinker, fastball, curveball, changeup. So he could use all those weapons in this game. Not being the hardest thrower, but he's definitely got a 4-pitch pitcher.
Yeah, Chris, I've caught him as well. He's got a nice arsenal of pitches, but most importantly for a kid his size that really doesn't throw too hard, the biggest thing is he hits his spots. I mean, his location is great, and he's actually going to head out to the bullpen right now because he didn't warm up for that appearance. He came in pretty much cold right there to get out of that inning. He hasn't thrown at all other than what he's thrown from shortstop. So really, he's warming up now. They threw him right into the fire there because, of course, he was playing shortstop, so he didn't have, any chance to get loose. So Gandolfo's going to start off the bottom of the 3rd, facing the top of the order. So Zaffino, is going to want to make up for that poor pitching performance today.
Let's see if Troy can take all his anger out on the ball right now. Maybe park it over the left field fence.
I mean, you look at this inning, Highlands batted around, 9 batters came to the plate. 5 runs on 5 hits, all of them singles. 1 walk and 2 strikeouts for Zaffino also mixed in there.
it's clear that by the end of this inning, Hills has got to do something to show Highlanders that they're still in the game and they're still going to be able to play against them.
A big thing in baseball is superstition. Is something if something isn't working for you, you're going to change it. You see Troy Zaffino going up with a new bat now. Bats are a huge advantage in baseball, but I know he's used his previous bat all season, but I guess he just didn't like the way it was feeling today, so switching bats, maybe this will give him an extra power to get a good hit.
7-1 Northern Highlands leading Wayne Hills here in the bottom of the third. Troy Zaffino takes ball one to start off the inning from Joey Gandolfo, the left-handed pitcher, who's had a pretty good day so far. And Zaffino rips one down the right field line for a hit. He's rounding first. He's going to go for second. The right fielder slips. That was caught, and Zaffino slides in safely at second base. So a leadoff double from Troy Zaffino, and Wayne Hills is in business in the third.
Man in scoring position, first at bat, and that's Steve Levenbrook's going to look for a single to take him in. This is exactly the position Hills wants to be in. You can't get all 6 of them back in one shot, so you just have to chip away. 1 run here, 2 runs there, and hopefully by the 7th inning you'll be caught up.
Well, that's exactly the start Wayne Hills wanted here in the bottom of the third after giving up 5 runs in the top of the inning. Highlands just wants to hold Hills down at this point, but Hills has to battle back and put at least a couple runs up here in the third, and Troy got them off to a good start with that double there. And now Levenbrook's batting. He struck out his first time up. Fastball, 4 strikes, so 1-1 now on Levenbrook. I mean, Zaffino's been a great hitter for this team all year. I mentioned his stats in the first inning. I mentioned it again, 397. So he doesn't just pitch, he hits, and that's why he's in that leadoff hole. And He started off the inning with a bang there. Nice double down the right field line, and Steve's behind 1-2 now. Looking to hit one to the right side, and that's something Coach Iannello stressed against the left-hander, a kid that throws a good curveball, trying to work things to the opposite field. Hit it where it's pitched, and that's exactly what Leavenbrook tries to do, but he pops it up, and the second baseman makes the play. So Leavenbrook 0 for 2 now on the day as he pops out to second. He went opposite field like his approach probably was there with a runner on second and nobody out, just trying to move him along to third, but he pops out. So now Kevin Solomon is up. Reached on an error his first time, went to second on a wild pitch and came around to score in the first. Hills his only run to this point. Curveball for a strike. So Gandolfo's given Kevin Solomon a steady diet of curveballs today.
This is the man Wayne Hills wants up in this situation. Their senior leader, Kevin Solomon. See if he could poke something through, get the run scored.
Another hook misses this time, 1-1 now. I mean, this is the time for Wayne Hills' stars to step up. They had the top of the order here in this pivotal third inning, and Solomon and Kessel will get their chances. Gandolfo misses high, 2-1, so Solomon ahead in the count. With Kessel and Avedisian, two of the best power hitters on the team to follow. 2-1, Solomon jammed. Comebacker to Gandolfo, he's going to go to third, and they're going to get Zaffino on the base running blunder. Zaffino upset with himself. A terrible mistake from Troy. Solomon Matty couldn't drive that ball. And just a terrible mistake from the Patriots. And just like that, they put themselves in a bad position.
With Jordan Kessler coming up right now, you can't afford to make that mistake. Jordan with Wayne Hill's only RBI thus far, and now he's going to have to hit a double to bring Solomon in.
I mean, that's terrible. You can't have that mistake. If you're Wayne Hills down by 6 runs, you got to be as conservative as you can on the bases, not give Highlands an opportunity to make any plays just like that. And Gandolfo did a good job of realizing that Zaffino had took off for third, and Zaffino got a good jump off second, but that ball took Gandolfo right toward that third base bag. As Solomon runs on the pitch, it's a pop-up behind on play, and that's going to go into the screen. So Kessel will get another life, but Solomon was running there on the pitch, and he'll have to come back to first.
It'll be interesting to see how Jordan Kessel will be able to save us here, because he has made some hits in the past that really saved us.
Yeah, Jordan Kessel this year has been a great hitter. Jordan batting .347 on the year.
378.
378, excuse me. Yeah, so that's even better than what I had thought. And Jordan, DH last year, had a great season. This year so far having a great season. We're going to see what he could do right here.
He's close to 400 now after getting a hit in his first at-bat. This is the same exact situation Wayne Hills was in the first inning with Kevin Solomon at first with 2 outs and Kessel at the plate. Hills was fortunate to get a wild pitch in that situation, and Solomon moved into scoring position where Kessel drove him in. Solomon runs, pitch in the dirt. There's another wild pitch. Solomon doesn't go to third. So they're going to give a stolen base to Kevin Solomon as that curveball went in the dirt. So it's a full count now on Jordan Kessel. With a runner in scoring position now, he'll look to try to drive in Solomon once again.
Very smart decision there by Solomon not going to third. You have your big hitter, Jordan Kessel, up. He brought him in last time. They're hoping he could do the same right now.
Right, and any hit Kessel gets to the outfield, Solomon's scoring because he's off on contact. So smart decision to not go to third as Kessel takes the pitch up and away for ball 4, and he works himself a 2-out walk as now his courtesy runner Joe Ramadan comes in. Ramadan can absolutely fly. So he'll look to score on any type of extra base hit from Justin Avedisian, who walked his first time up. Like I mentioned, Justin called up after 8 games of junior varsity action after Richie Mertrude got hurt, and Justin has taken advantage of the opportunity. In 18 games, he's batted .356 with a home run, 8 RBIs. And that home run was against St. Joe's at St. Joe's, hit an absolute bomb over the left field wall.
We even saw that one in the JV field, John. St. Joe's Field's right next to each other. That one landed right on the backstop.
Two men on for Avedisian with 2 outs. A big situation. Ball gets away from the catchers. The runners will move up. So a pass ball from the Northern Highlands catcher, Steve DeBella. And the runners move up, so it's an even more important at-bat now for Justin Avedisian. With 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs, Solomon on third and Kessel on second.
This could be what Hills needs. A single brings in 2 right now with 2 fast base runners on. Bring them in within a grand slam of the tie.
Justin fouls it off. 2-2 now on Avedisian. Justin keeping that third base corner in the family name, as his brother Christian started for last year's varsity team at third base. Justin also has a twin brother, Jason, who plays first base. He's in uniform for today's varsity game. Jason has 2 at-bats on the varsity season and is the starting first baseman for the JV team, batting close to 500. I mean, Justin was batting close to 600 before he was called up, so the twins can just absolutely hit. There's pure hitters. They hit for extra base hits. They both have home runs. And Justin fouls another one off, so he's battling, as this will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming. And like I said, I mean, the Twins, I believe they have 5 home runs combined. And on a home field, it doesn't even have a fence. They have several triples, several doubles. So they just, I mean, they're, like I said, pure hitters. It's in their genes. The 2-2 misses inside. So a good eye from Justin now as he's worked it full. Just a great at-bat from Avedisian. He's going to look to cash in now with 2 men in scoring position. Full count. Tyler Rubino on deck. The 3-2. Popped up to shallow left. It'll be there for the shortstop to make the play. So Avedisian can't come through with 2 outs and 2 men in scoring position. The putout made by Tony Gandolfo, the shortstop. And just like that, his brother Joey Gandolfo is able to get out of a huge jam and keep Wayne Hills pinned down by 6.
Just a really good pitch by Gandolfo, the pitching Gandolfo. He just got Justin high where I guess he just couldn't catch up to it and popped it up right to the shortstop.
Hills is going to have to come through in situations just like that if they want to come back in this game, because they have just now 12 outs to work with the rest of the way, down by 6. I mean, they can definitely hit, but they're going to have to show it. Down 7-1 as we start the 4th inning. Guys left on bases is just exactly what Wayne Hills can't afford.
Justin, that at-bat left 2 men in scoring position. You know he's only a sophomore, but you can't even call him a sophomore anymore after having the amount of varsity at-bats he has, which is 45.
So Chris Amato, after warming up in the bullpen that whole inning, will start his first full inning of work. And he's going to face the 4, 5, 6 hitters for Highlands. Joey Gandolfo, Anthony Messina, and Kyle Koppel. This is the pitcher, Joey Gandolfo, leading things off. I'm sorry, this is Anthony Messina leading things off. Gandolfo made the last out in the 3rd, so the order is Messina, Koppel, Steve DeBella here in the 4th. The 0-1 from Amato, driven deep to right center field. Monahan back, has room and hauls it in. So the expanse in the outfield here at Wayne Hills eats up that fly ball. Messina gave it quite a ride, but Monahan was there to bring it in.
Saw a nice little hustle there by Monahan. It looks like he's really trying to, show Highlands that, the outfield's got some skills too.
Yeah, that was the first ball that Wayne Hills outfielder had to play behind them. So Anthony Messina showing why he's DHing.
That curveball missed somewhere to Koppel. I mean, that was the first deep hard hit ball that we've seen today. Fastball on the outside corner, strike one. The first fly ball that Wayne Hills has caught today. It's been all grounders and strikeouts for Zaffino.
Again,
Big hook from Amato, and he gets ahead 1-2. I mean, he's got a very nice curveball. It breaks a lot. He shakes off. The 1-2 fastball on the outside misses.
With Northern Highlands, no extra base hits this game and no fly balls caught up until the last at bat. They're showing why they're a small ball team.
Curveball driven to shortstop. Zaffino's there. Has to make a long throw across the diamond and gets Koppel just in time. What a stretch by Kevin Solomon. That throw was to Solomon's left. Took him off the base, but he stretched, and he looks to be a little bit hobbled by that. I mean, he stretched so far, and he needed every inch of that, every inch of his 6'2" body to get Koppel, because that was a bang-bang play over here at first. So 2 up and 2 set aside by Chris Amato, who will pitch to contact. He just doesn't have the velocity to strike guys out. He has just 10 strikeouts in 13 innings of work this year. Which isn't too, it's not like he doesn't have any, but you wouldn't classify him as a strikeout pitcher.
Catching Chris last year for freshman ball, I definitely knew him as a ground ball pitcher. Definitely could get the double plays. Wouldn't be striking at the side, and that's why his pitch counts always seem low.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, pitching to contact always keeps your pitch count low. Doesn't walk a lot of guys. Just really the ideal guy you would want to have out in a long relief type role. You know, a guy that's going to keep the game moving. I mean, in this game, obviously Hills wants to come back, but in a blowout, either way, you just want your long man to throw strikes and get outs, and that's exactly what Amato does. But he's fallen behind 3-1 now on Steve DeBella, who has struck out twice today, both times looking. He's also had to let a couple balls get past him at catcher, so he's had a bad game as he lines out to Solomon at first to end the inning. So DeBella, the only guy on this Highlands team not having a nice day. So Solomon makes the play over there at first to end the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning from Chris Amato. So through 3.5, score is still Highlands 7, Wayne Hills 1. As Hills will have the 6, 7, 8 hitters up in this inning. Rubino, Monahan, and Adesso.
Bottom of the order is going to have to produce just like the top of the order is so far. You need definitely Monahan, used to being a leadoff hitter for this team earlier in the season, so he knows how to get on base when he needs to. He walked in his first at bat, so look for him to try to get on any way he can, even if it means taking one in the leg.
So 3 outfielders will bat for Wayne Hills. They're going to have to try to break through on Joey Gandolfo. It's not like they haven't had their chances. They've gotten, by my count, 7 guys on base in the first 3 innings. Just have only been able to cash in once. So Gandolfo taking his warm-up tosses. He's thrown 64 pitches through 3 innings, so a pretty high pitch count. So something with he's only on 3 days rest, so that's something Hills could look to try to take advantage of, and work the count and try to knock Gandolfo out after 5, and try to get to the bullpen. Because in high school baseball, all your best pitchers are starters, no question about it. I mean, no one saves one of their top pitchers to be a closer, because it's just the situation just doesn't come up enough over the course of the season to do that. I mean, you're really only going to have a couple save opportunities over the course of the 23-24 game season.
In high school baseball, it's only 7 innings. A pitcher can get through 7 with under 100 pitches easy, but as you see closers coming in professional baseball, almost every game where there's an opportunity, they get above the 100 pitch count, and that's why they need the closers. But with only 7 innings in high school, your starter can go the whole way a lot of the time.
Right. And you look at the complete games for this team, and there's a ton. Steve Levenbrook, 4 complete games. Brian Dowling, 2. Steve Adesso, 2. Troy Zaffino, 2. So 8 out of the 25 games have been complete games. Levenbrook, the only pitcher with a shutout. Rubino, takes the fastball high for ball 1 Tyler popped out to third his first time up. Koppel made a sliding catch in the middle of the infield to retire Tyler. Tyler, junior, one of 2 juniors in the starting lineup. Tyler fouls one back. Rubino, also a member of the Wayne Hills soccer team. He was a starting varsity player as a junior there as well, and he'll be a captain next year. So there's quite a few very good athletes on this team that play multiple sports. Of course, Troy Zaffino stands out. 3-sport athlete, really a 4-sport athlete if that, it's not possible, but he's a all-county player in ice hockey. He got a lot of action on of course, our heralded football team here at Wayne Hills in the fall, and he's going to be a big part of the team this upcoming fall. And of course, a varsity player as a sophomore in baseball, as Rubino takes outside 2-2. And then of course you have Andrew Monahan, also a football player. Like I said, Rubino, a soccer player. Justin and Jason Avedizian are football players. Tyler fouls it back, so he's battling here at 2-2. Ground ball to second base. Rubino hustling. Throw pulled the first baseman off the bag. I saw the throw come wide. I did not think that the first baseman took his foot off the bag. That was Alex Tanageri on the throw and Mark Rossi on the catch, but the first base umpire said Rossi's foot was off the base, so Hill's catching a very important break right there. So they get the leadoff man on base, so Rubino gets on first on the error.
You know, it's going to be little plays like that are just going to help us win this, because it's not over yet. I mean, the score looks a little uneven, but it's still not over.
High pop-up by Monahan. Rubino and Monahan getting in the way of the first baseman. A lot of confusion on the field as Andrew Monahan, as the left fielders coming in now to have some words with Tyler Rubino. I mean, that's a little inappropriate, if you ask me. Rubino wasn't even the one who touched the runner. It was Monahan. Rubino was just trying to get back to the base. And now Gandolfo having words with Coach Brendan Connolly over there. So things getting a little bit chippy here as Monahan hit a mile-high pop-up, and Rubino was just trying to get back to the base. He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, Monahan got called for interference, so he's out, even though the ball did drop. And the left fielder came sprinting in, I mean, from far, far away. And he looked like he wanted to throw a punch at Rubino, who didn't even do anything.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw them giving each other both a couple dirty looks, and it seemed to be a little unfounded, you know. But it's sports. It's a baseball game. I mean, obviously tensions are going to get pretty thick.
I mean, what is he doing? You're up 7-1. Have some class. There's no reason to be trying to get Wayne Hills excited, because right now they're down. Let them stay down. Why would you try to egg them on? It's not like Monahan laid out the first baseman. He gave him a little elbow, and he got called for obstruction. Now the Highlands coach is out talking to the umpire in a more civilized manner, asking if maybe he wants Andrew Monahan thrown out of the game, which I've seen happen before last year on JV. Anthony Scadillo elbowed the first baseman on a very, very similar play, and Scadillo was suspended for a game. And I haven't seen the umps issue any type of warning or ejection to Monahan, so as far as we know, he's in the game. Rubino leads off first with 1 out. Fastball to Adesso on the outside corner. So, got a little interesting there.
As I said before, John, up 6 runs, you got to show some class. You can't have Northern Highlands shortstop Gandolfo talking to Tyler Rubino as he gets to second.
That was a left fielder, Nick, coming all the way from left field. He sprinted in.
That makes it even worse. I mean, Rubino didn't even do anything. He was just running as he thought the play was.
Adesso swings and misses. It's the second time today he's struck out. And he is in a deep, deep slump now. And now the Northern Highlands fielders are barking at their pitcher, trying to get each other psyched up there. they're emotionally into this game now after that play from Monahan. They did not like Monahan going in hard on Rossi, and they're really into this game, up 7-1, and even more intense now if that's possible. So 2 outs now for Chris Amato. Rubino leads off first. Amato rips a line drive into right center field. That'll get down. Rubino's going to try to go first to third as the right fielder bobbles it. So Rubino will get into third base safely. So a nice single from Chris Amato, and it's first and third with 2 outs for Troy.
Something that's going to bring this game into extra heated is if you see Andrew get up next inning or next time he's up and you see a pitch thrown at him, that's going to have just everything go out of proportion.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see it because Highlands is up by 6. They can afford a base runner. And they definitely did not like that at all. I mean, they are still yelling and getting more and more upset with Hills as the fans got into it a little bit as well. And then they're more engrossed in this game as Zaffino fouls off the curveball. So things have heated up a little bit in a 6-run game.
After that play, this could be more than a quarterfinal state baseball game. This could be a personal game now, possibly starting a rivalry.
Exactly. And this is a former NBIL team, a team that Hills used to play twice a year. They don't play them too much anymore. But they're very familiar with Northern Highlands. It's not like they haven't seen them. And, I mean, rivalries last when you see a team that often. Unfortunately, this year and next year, Hills won't be playing Highlands on the regular season schedule. But it's always possible to see them in a state game just like this. 0-2 now on Zaffino. Gandolfo buzzing in that fastball. He throws pretty hard for a high school pitcher. First and third, so a big RBI chance for Zaffino. He fouls it back, so Troy's staying alive in this clutch situation.
On that previous pickoff, you saw Amato slid in safely, but then you see Northern Highlands first baseman number 32 give him a nice little love tap, maybe showing his dominance or that he's still heated about the Andrew Monahan situation.
Troy rips that in the left field. That ball almost hit the ground. So Troy Zaffino with a very clutch RBI single. Tyler Rubino comes in, getting his team psyched up in the dugout. And Hill's chipping away now. Zaffino drives in a run, and they cut it to 7-2.
Those are the kind of hits that get you out of slumps. The nice little cheap ones. You dig them out of the dirt, you hit it over your head, but that's all it needs to start for you to get in a groove for the next few games and getting a lot of hits.
I mean, there was nothing cheap about that one. It was a bad decision to swing at it, but Troy made up for it with a great job of hitting. I mean, that ball was going to hit the dirt. The catcher was not going to catch that. And he golfed it into left field. Nice line drive, and now it's first and second with 2 outs. Amato on second, Zaffino on first, and Steve Levenbrook at the plate. The 0-1 on the outside corner, so Levenbrook falls behind 0-2. He's been behind in every at-bat so far. He's 0 for 2. He's the senior leader on this team with a pretty good hitting record this year. So you absolutely look for the senior to pick up the sophomores here in another RBI situation. 0-2. Levenbrook swings and misses. A weak hack by Steve Levenbrook, and he's now 0 for 3. And that'll end the inning. Gandolfo up to 83 pitches. So his day coming closer and closer to a conclusion. But Hills gets one there in the 4th, so they pull it to a 5-run game. So through 4, Hills trails Northern Highlands by 5.
3 outside pitches there to Levenbrook. First 2 were called for strikes, and then they just bring it a little bit outside, as we talked about before, a waste pitch, and Levenbrook just bit on it.
But really the saving grace for Wayne Hills right now, giving him a little bit of hope, is that pitch count for Gandolfo at 83. He's on 3 days rest, so you wouldn't think the coach would leave him in too longer. I mean, if he's got a rubber arm, it's high school, it's the playoffs, you might leave him in over 100, but he's definitely not going to go the whole way. I would be surprised to see him go any more than 5, so Hills is going to get a shot at the Highlands bullpen. And there is, I just realized, there is probably a little bit of, I don't know about bad blood, but definitely a rivalry factor with this Hills-Highlands matchup, because last year there was a great game between these two teams that went 13 innings, and it was tied through 13. Both teams emptied the benches, and they actually had to suspend that game due to darkness. It was a regular season game, but because of that, they had to play it Highlands had to come back here to Wayne Hills to play the conclusion of that game. They only played 1 inning, and it was decided in the 14th, but that game went 2 days. So obviously they got to know each other pretty well through that one.
Highlands this year seeing a whole different team. Most of the starters this year didn't start last year.
That's absolutely true. Like I said, 5 sophomores in this starting lineup. Well, 4, excuse me. 3. Oh no, 5. I'm sorry. I was right. 5 sophomores, 2 seniors, and 2 juniors. So Amato starting off the 5th. Mark Rossi, the first baseman, up 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Curveball to center field, Rubino under it, and he'll make the catch to retire Rossi for the first out. So a harmless fly ball finds its way into the mid of Tyler Rubino, and Amato retires the first man here in the 5th.
Come on, Ben. Come on, start us. Come on, Ben. Need a runner. There you go.
So Amato doing his job, pitching to contact and getting quick outs. His game has gone much smoother since he's entered. Swing and a miss from Glenn Cox, the right fielder, who had a 2-run single his first time up, lined it down the left field line to score 2, and at that point it made it a 4-1 game. So it was a very big hit from Cox, and we'll see what he can do this time as he fouls it back. So Amato getting ahead 0-2.
This game, Wayne Hills has a deep bench, bringing up a lot of kids from JV just to suit up for this game. Northern Highlands, though, only carrying 16 players.
Hills has 19 as Cox rips a single into left field. So Glenn Cox is 2 for 3 as Farrella plays it in. So a runner on first with 1 out for Northern Highlands. As Nick mentioned, 19 guys in uniform for Wayne Hills, which is more than they usually carry. They usually carry about 13 or 14, but they've called up a lot of JV players. So there's guys like Joe Rapp, Joe Ramadan, Jason Avadisian, Dave Flores dressed in uniform today. Those are position players, and of course, as always, Matt Smith and Bobby Gross are the relievers in the bullpen to accompany Amato. So if Amato's pitch count gets higher, he gets in trouble, we'd likely see either Gross or Smith. Also, Tyler Rubino pitched a bullpen session yesterday, so he would be available to come in as well from center field to pitch. And in that situation, it'd be Joe Rapp most likely coming off the bench to play right field, as Farrella would move to center and Monahan likely to left. But we're a long way from that happening, as Amato's cruising right now here in the top of the 5th. So Taylor 3 for 3 on the day, showed bunt there and took it for a ball. He's gone opposite field with, I believe, all his hits as he fouls that one off, so Cox will have to come back to first.
Billy Taylor so far 3 for 3 in this game, and his speed's definitely been a factor. He's got 2 of the 7 runs scored for Northern Highlands, so keeping him off the base path is Wayne Hill's main objective right now.
I mean, this kid's just a ball player. He's a David Eckstein type guy at the top of the order, very slight in size, but big in presence and hitting, because he's 3 for 3. He's hit 3 ropes. They haven't been cheap singles at all. I mean, he's hit the ball hard against Troy Zaffino. So a curveball from Amato. Highlands fans didn't like that one, but Chris evens the count at 2-2. Curveball to first base. Solomon initially went for it and then got back to the bag in time. Levenbrook makes the put out to first. So Taylor retired for the first time today. A 4-3 put out for Wayne Hills as Cox moves over to second base now with 2 outs. Billy Rose steps up, the left fielder for Northern Highlands. 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and a walk. He also scored a run in the first. Curveball ripped into right field for a base hit. Monahan will play it. They send the runner. The throw to the plate from Solomon is not made. And Highlands scores again, this time off Chris Amato. An RBI single from Billy Rose, and Highlands goes up 8-2.
Stuff you could do about that one. Andrew Monahan playing deep, no doubles territory. Good thing he was, because when a previous batter hit a ball out there, looks like he just made it to him, but there's really nothing you could do about that one. Just a great single there by Northern Highlands.
Amato left the curveball just a little bit up, and Rose took advantage for the RBI single. The grass batted that one down quite a bit, so it delayed it getting to Monahan. Otherwise, he might have had to play at the plate because Monahan fielded it just as Cox was turning third. Monahan has a good arm, but he hit the cutoff man, and at that point there was no chance to get him as Cox was getting around the bases pretty quick. So 1-0 now on Sanageri, who's 2 for 2 on the day with a walk and 2 RBIs, so he's had quite a day at the plate, and he rips another one into center field. This is going to drop in for a base hit. Rubino gets it into Troy. So back-to-back singles from the Highlanders as their fans have really gotten into this one as they are putting on a show at the plate. Sanageri 3 for 3. Rose moves to second and first and second.
You know, looking at Hills right now, it seems like all these little minor setbacks, one right after another, are really starting to affect their game. You're seeing just a slight decrease in, morale and just overall performance. I don't know. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these singles, Hill scores, makes it closer, and then just like that, Highland answers with another run, and that's the most, in my opinion, that's the most demoralizing thing in baseball, to start a comeback and then just have the other team answer you in the next inning, and that's just a killer because down by 6 with 3 innings to go is obviously a situation that's not easy to rebound from.
Northern Highlands isn't hitting any doubles, triples, home runs. They've gotten all these runs just off singles, off good base running. No base running mistakes to this point. Just off nice singles and good base running. They've gotten these 8 runs.
13 singles in 5 innings. I mean, that is your definition of hitting the ball where it's pitched. And they've done that against 2 sophomores because Amato and Zaffino have good stuff, but they haven't thrown a ton of balls that seem to be up today. I mean, they're keeping the ball down. These Highlands hitters are just going and getting it and driving it into the outfield, just line drive after line drive. I mean, it's just a great display of hitting. The 1-1 to Gandolfo, curveball just missed outside. I mean, Highlands, I know, has always been a very good program. I remember last year they had this kid, Eric Anderson, the first baseman, who was, I remember it being not very mobile. He really couldn't move at all, but he could hit, man. He hit several home runs on the season. I think I saw him hit in person. A couple, speaking of home runs, this one driven deep to right center field to the fence, and it'll hop off the wall. It's a one-hopper. Rubino plays it in, but that's a 2-run double for Joey Gandolfo, and Northern Highlands is just piling it on.
Bless you. Back to no doubles being hit. The first one ends up to be hit in a big spot with runners in scoring position. Northern Highlands just puts it in. Their pitcher helping out their own cause. Joe Gandolfo, great hit by him. Just went with that pitch, had the nice lefty stroke on it, just put it right into right center field.
Gandolfo with 4 RBIs on the day, and he's going to be ran for as this. He's met in the dugout with a host of high fives and chest bumps, and I mean, he's had himself quite a day. 4 innings, just 2 runs on the mound. He's 2 for 4 at the plate with 4 RBIs. As now Anthony Messina is going to come up. I mean, I don't know how this team is a 16 seed.
I was thinking about that before the game, John. Maybe they didn't play their best up until this point to get the 16 seed. I can't see why they would do that, though. Maybe they're just playing good at the right times.
Well, they've obviously gotten hot at a good time. There's no question about that, as Troy can't make the play along the fans. I'm guessing, my guess would be that they don't have much pitching after Gandolfo, because he looks like a legitimate ace. I mean, Hills hasn't hit terribly. Gandolfo's kept the ball down. He's got great mechanics. He's a lefty. But my guess would the reason they're 12-12 would be because their pitching after that's not very good, which is the only hope Hills has right now because they're going to get to the bullpen. No one's warming up just yet, but with 83 pitches thrown by Gandolfo, he most likely won't go the whole way. The 1-1 from Amato. Fastball on the inside corner, strike 2. The 1-2 chopper. It's a swinging bunt. It'll go foul. So Messina will come back and do it again. And just to finish what I was saying about Northern Highlands is Eric Anderson. He's now playing Division I ball at Fairleigh Dickinson. So he was quite a player for them. And now it appears they lost a lot of their power, but they're 13 singles to this point. As Amato gets the strikeout on Messina to end the inning. So Northern Highlands tacks on 3 more in the 5th, and they're now up 10-2. So we're going to be back with the bottom of the 5th after this.
So, which MLB outfielder holds the record for the most career home runs? Is it A, Babe Ruth, B, Hank Aaron, C, Sammy Sosa, or D, Mel Ott? The answer is A, Babe Ruth.
Welcome back to Wayne Hills High School with the Northern Highlands Highlanders leading the Wayne Hills Patriots by a score of 10-2 in the North 1 Group 3 quarterfinal matchup. Nick Appaluccio has had to step aside for the day, so we've welcomed in a member of the Wayne Hills teaching staff and also our assistant TV club advisor, Mr. Taylor Berkowitz. So, Mr. Berkowitz, you've spent the game in the truck, so we've got you out of the cave now, and you're here to announce. So what have your impressions have been of this game so far through 5 innings?
It's a disappointing showing so far. Northern Highlands has played extremely well. A lot of fluky stuff has happened. They've showed tremendous patience at the plate early on in the game. Works on base, caused trouble. Disappointing, but you know what? Sometimes they just don't go your way.
I mean, I don't think Hills' pitchers have even done that bad of a job. They haven't had the stuff to overpower Highlands, and they've been able to sit back and drive the ball all day. 14 hits already in just 5 innings as Kevin Solomon takes a strike on the inside corner, 2-1. So just the man you want up to try to start a rally in Solomon. Like I said, batting .481 on the year, and he fouls that back 2-2.
And I hate to be cliche, but they got to take this one at a time. They still have couple of innings left. They have outs to give. They just got to start putting some guys on base, hopefully get into the Highlands bullpen and take advantage of their bullpen, get the starter out of the game, and work from there.
I mean, no question about it. You just got to chip away and hope you catch some breaks and just continue to rake, because they haven't hit terribly today. They have a fair share of hits, but they just haven't been able to string them together as Solomon strikes out. Swing and a miss by Kevin Solomon, and Gandolfo picks up his 6th strikeout of the day.
Nice pitch, 3-2 by Gandolfo coming in and challenging him. Even with the lead, he's not afraid to throw something and give up a hit. Even if you give up a home run right there, no big deal. It's still 10-3.
Absolutely great point as Kessel flies this one into left center. Outfielders coming in, shortstop going out, and the shortstop's able to make the play. That's Gandolfo's brother over there. So Gandolfo faces Hills' 2 best hitters and puts them both down in order, and that's a good point because Solomon has been facing breaking balls all day, and up by 8. Gandolfo not afraid to throw the fastball, and Solomon might have been sitting breaking ball there, and he got beat with the fastball. So you don't see that too much from Kevin Solomon, but Gandolfo's just put together a nice effort so far today. Justin Avedisian up at the plate now takes strike 1. Justin 0 for 1, popped out to short with 2 men on in scoring position his last time up. Walked his first time. The 0-1 from Gandolfo. Changeup misses low, 1-1.
I don't want to seem like I'm making excuses, but the umpiring a little bit early on seemed a little bit inconsistent. I think Troy seemed to get a little bit rattled by that. Some of the close pitches were called as balls, and he got behind because of that.
Almost an amazing play by the Highlands second baseman as Justin chopped that one towards center field, and he somehow got it off the in-between hop and made a Derek Jeter-like throw from deep in center field. And Justin, not the most fleet of foot on this Wayne Hills team, but the throw went just high. Otherwise, he would have made the play in time to get Avedisian.
And I think if the second baseman could take that back, he had a little more time. He would have liked to probably set and throw there rather than just firing, moving away from the play. Again, a slower runner moving up the line, you have a little more time than you think.
Right, and that's just knowing your runners. I mean, he probably didn't realize that one of the slowest guys on the team was up for Wayne Hills, because otherwise, like you said, he would have had time to stop and throw.
These are the types of breaks you need if you're going to get back in this game.
Rubino takes strike on the outside corner, 1-1. That's the fourth error of the game for Highlands, but they've been lucky. Gandolfo's been able to bail him out on most occasions.
And the one big difference so far has been the ability to field pop-ups and fly balls. It seems like Wayne Hills has struggled with that early on. Some plays that balls just kind of fell in, whereas Highlands seems to be grabbing everything that's in the air.
Rubino rips a ground ball to the shortstop, but Gandolfo will jog over to the bag and get Avedisian in plenty of time to end the inning. So just like that, Gandolfo puts up another 0, and Highlands continues to lead by 8 through 5.
You got to tip your hat to Chris Amato. He's coming out, he's coming in a tough situation here. Done a pretty good job of trying to limit the damage. I know he got knocked around a little bit last inning. His curveball stayed up just a little bit, but he really has demonstrated a tremendous curveball, good break on it. If he can keep it down, he's going to be effective, and he'll continue to be effective. Needs to work a little bit on the velocity to give just a little more differential in pitch speed between his fastball and his curveball. But he's really demonstrated something here today, coming on in a tough spot and doing his best to try to give Hills a chance to get back in the game.
Wow, Burke, you've been paying attention in there.
Absolutely. Well, when you have to watch 4 monitors, you got to be on your toes when you're back in the. I love that you called it a truck. It's more of the blue tarp that is raining down plastic on our heads. We're a little bit covered right now because of it, but you know what? It's a great setup that we have here. It's a tremendous program. You guys do a great job. I'm real proud of the job that you guys are doing. Everybody who's working behind the scenes, camera guys. Baseball is extremely tough to produce, even with top-notch equipment and a top-notch setup. Given the limitations that we face, I think everybody's done a terrific job. Kyle Katine doing a great job directing. Everybody behind the scenes has done a great job. All 3 cameramen have done a great job. Matt Trainer, and I'm leaving out who's TD. I forget who's
Mike
technical.
Beltramba.
Mike, he really did a great job. He's been on his toes. He's picked up a couple of things that even we've been slow on. So everybody really has done a great job, and real proud of the effort.
You can't say enough about the guys behind the scenes working hard. Mr. Hookstreet does a great job with our TV program. We have our 4th camera today. Last year we did a baseball game. We only had 3. This year we have 4 for the first time. We have a view out from the outfield. So we're making our advances day in and day out here at Wayne Hills TV. So Chris Amato starts off Kyle Koppel with a curveball for a strike that Koppel fouled off. Another curveball that Koppel couldn't quite straight out, and he knocks it foul down the first baseline. So Amato ahead 0-2.
Funny thing about these games is when you go back, a lot of times it's that little thing, and the that fluky bunt in the first inning really set the tone for everything that's happened so far.
That was Nick Appaluccio said it to me more than once in the between innings that was the biggest play in this game was that bunt. I mean, it took 3 bounces off the ground, off the bat, and then off the ground again, and there's just nothing Jordan Kessel can do. Just terrible luck, and just set Wayne Hills up with a tough inning. And Amato gets the strikeout of Koppel there for the first out.
Real nice display of that breaking ball again. It's diving down in the zone, and as long as he keeps it down in the zone, he's going to be extremely effective. That's a real tough pitch to hit. It's a tough pitch to lay off. Functions almost like a changeup and just kind of dives late. Good late movement is pitcher's best friend.
Chris Amato is a very good pitcher. I've caught him multiple times this year, probably 5-6 times I've caught him, and he has a very good curveball, 12-6 drop, has a lot of break on it, and he's like you said, doesn't have all the velocity in the world, being a small kid. I mean, he's only about 5'8". He's been even smaller. He was even smaller last year, but he does have extremely large hands, so that helps him grip the ball and be able to throw these off-speed pitches. And it also is an indication that he's going to continue to grow. So as he gets bigger and bigger, we can only expect more and more things from him because he locates his pitches tremendously. Ground ball to Troy Zaffino at short, who makes the play. So 2 up and 2 set aside from Amato in the 6th.
There's nothing better than having a big, tall first baseman like Kevin Solomon there to reach up and reach out on throws. He is going to save a lot of people, a lot of errors in his playing future.
That is for sure. Playing third base as well for this team in practice. Throwing to Kevin is the easiest thing you'll ever do because no matter where you put it, he's going to make the play. He'll pick it to either side. He'll jump up and come down on the base. I mean, he's just a tremendous defensive first baseman no matter how you cut it. Amato grooves that curveball into Rossi. Rossi 0 for 2 on the day, walked and scored in the 3rd. Change up in the dirt from Amato. Amato features a pretty good fastball, just doesn't quite get enough on it to overpower people, but you can't expect that from a 5'8" kid.
And he doesn't have to. As long as he can keep the pitch differential and the movement going, he's going to be able to fool a lot of batters. Velocity at times is overrated if your secondary pitches are too close to each other.
I mean, it's proven in this program as Rossi's able to bloop in a single. I mean, we have guys at the JV level who throw a lot harder than Amato does. And Amato has earned this spot. I mean, he's got the best ERA on the varsity team because he's able to locate his pitches. And he does it so well on all 4 pitches: fastball, sinker, curveball, changeup. I mean, he throws all of them for strikes.
Even a pitch like that, you can see that it really is kind of a full pitch, and just again a bloop hit. That's pretty much been what Highlands has been doing all day. It's just a little dink and dunk here and there, and they've been able to just build runs off of that.
Right, 14 singles in the game for Northern Highlands. So, I mean, in 5 2/3, that's incredible to put together that many hits. I mean, they could have even more than 10. They've left guys on base as well, but I mean, 10. You got to be happy with 10. Glenn Cox at the plate, 2 for 3 on the day, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Rossi ran there, but Cox bounced it foul into the stands. As you see, a large contingent from Allendale coming south to see this one.
A large contingent hoping that righty pull hitters do not rip a line drive foul right into them. On the Wayne Hill sideline, we have the luxury of having a fence to protect us, but the Northern Highlands fans are out there in the open.
Whatever we could do to give ourselves the advantage. So another curveball from Amato strikes out Cox. So Amato with a nice inning, just 1 hit, 1 man left on base. So through 5 1/2, it's still 10-2 Northern Highlands. We'll be back with the final inning and a half after this.
Ballin'. So, which NBA player scored 100 points on March 2nd, 1962? Is it A, Kobe, B, Wilt Chamberlain, C, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or D, LeBron James? B, Wilt Chamberlain.
Back here at Wayne Hills High School for the North 1 Group 3 state quarterfinal matchup with the 16th seeded Highlands team beating Wayne Hills 10-2 here in the bottom of the 6th. It's been a tough day for the Patriots no matter how you look at it. Andrew Monahan will lead things off for Wayne Hills, 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. He was also caught stealing after walking in the 2nd on a pickoff attempt from the pitcher Joey Gandolfo. Takes strike 1, does Monahan. Gandolfo up to 98 pitches now through 5+. But the way he's going, they're not going to take him out.
The thing that's been impressive about Gandolfo is he's exhibited nice movement on the fastball. It's kept the Wayne Hills hitters off balance. They haven't really been able to square in on anything and really drive it. It's keeping the ball down. Pitch like that, a little questionable call, looked a little bit low, but as long as he keeps the balls down, you're going to, even if you make contact, you're going to beat it into the ground more often than not, just like that.
Well, Monahan got lucky, but right on cue, he bounced one into the ground and claps his hands together as he's got himself a leadoff single. So Hills with a runner on here in the 6th, looking to make something happen.
John, I'm going to break your heart on this, and I'm going to break mine. But every time I see a hit like that, all I can think of is the Luis Sojo 16 hopper in Game 5 of the 2000 World Series, Mets versus Yankees. That just stuck a dagger in our Mets. Those little worm burners right up the middle always remind me of that.
I've tried to forget.
It's a traumatic moment in my life.
Too many bad Mets memories in my head. Adesso's up at the plate now. Struck out twice today, both times swinging in the 2nd and 4th. 1-1 now on Steve. Came into the game batting .375, but has been in a pretty bad slump in the last few games. Gandolfo's first pickoff attempt in a while. Monahan gets back easily.
It's odd to see them even holding Monahan on here. 10-2 game. Why are you worried about the runner? You have to get 6 outs. There's no reason to worry about this run right now.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, 8-run game, it really, Monahan means nothing to get the outs. Give your first baseman a little range as Adesso rips a single into right field. The throw comes into 2nd. They tried to get the force, but Monahan beat it. So Steve Adesso with a very nice single. And Hills has guys on 1st and 2nd with nobody out.
Excuse me, that was almost a very bad read by Monahan. That was a line drive that was clearly going to drop in. It was sinking all the way. The right fielder did a good job of deking him out, and if he had gotten a better bounce and a better throw, they might have had Monahan for a force at 2nd. He did not get the best read on that. Down 10-2, you can't afford to have base running mistakes right now.
I mean, that's for sure. Wayne Hills is going to have to play a flawless game the rest of the way if they intend on coming back. As for the first time today, there's going to be a meeting at the mound.
And this is what Hills has to hope for, is that Gandolfo's getting tired. You can get into the bullpen right now. They don't seem to have anybody ready to come in, but they have to get base runners on. You have 2 on, nobody out. You have 2 innings left. You have the time to get this done. A couple of runs here, a couple of runs there. It's not impossible, but they can't make mistakes right now. And they have to be on their toes. They have to be trying to take the extra base in a smart way and just keep putting balls in play, move runners up.
So they break the meeting at the mound. So for the first time today, Hills has 2 guys on with nobody out for the 9-hitter Chris Amato. I don't think Coach Iannello would bunt in this situation, but Chris is a very good bunter.
This would be almost criminal if you gave away an out. With so few outs to give, you can't give away an out to try to move guys into scoring position.
That's for sure, and Chris was not squaring on that first pitch, and it got away from the catcher. So the runners will move up now with nobody out.
You're starting to see a few cracks right now in Gandolfo. Pitching into the 6th, he's thrown a number of pitches. Maybe if he's starting to wear out, this is when Hills has to capitalize.
He's at 106 pitches so far through 5 innings. Swing and a miss from Amato. Nice cut. Chris is 1 for 2 on the day.
Looked like he took something off that pitch, and Amato was just too far out in front of it.
So there's the changeup from Gandolfo to go along with his fastball and curveball. Fastball misses outside, 2-1. So Hills, it's an absolute must that they have to get these 2 runs in. Obviously, they want even more with only 6 outs to work with. Strike 2 fastball taken for the 2nd strike of the at-bat. So 2-2 now on Amato, and the last thing Hills wants is a strikeout. So if he can just put the ball in play, it'll be an RBI. Two swing and a miss, and there's that strikeout that Hills was dreading. So Amato set aside on strikes for the 2nd time today.
And Gandolfo's done did a real nice job in that at bat of mixing speeds, mixing location. He was moving the ball around the plate. That's been the most impressive aspect of his outing so far, is the movement and the location. He's been really able to keep the hitters off balance with all of his pitches.
And to go with that movement and location has been the velocity, and he's just been great all around. Now Hills is going to send a runner to the plate, and Monahan's going to score. I don't know about that decision, but at least he was safe.
That was a very, very scary decision, watching Monahan come down that line. I didn't think he was going to make that, but off these chain link fences, balls can take funny bounces. That one kind of died a little and rolled away, gave him a little bit of an opportunity. Give Monahan credit. Good read. He broke right away. A little bit scary, possibly giving away an out on the base pass when you're down, but you know what? It worked out. 1 run in.
You got to take chances like that, and you know what? It's just when you take chances like that and you actually make it that really, gets the team going. Maybe we start some momentum again.
So Zafino fouls one back to the screen, 1-1. Runner on third with 1 out, so a fly ball or ground ball will get the run in. Change up, foul back, 1-2.
The one thing the batters can't do is be too aggressive and too anxious at the plate right now. Again, you're dealing with the pitcher. He's throwing a lot of pitches. He's starting to get tired. Make him work. Make him have to throw pitches. Don't go up there just looking to swing. Make sure you're waiting on your pitch. Even if you get down on the count, you got an opportunity.
So Troy set aside on strikes. A fastball on the outside corner. Questionable call. Troy didn't like it, but the ump gave Gandolfo the call, and there's 2 outs now in the inning for Steve Levenbrook.
And I don't know if the umpire was mugging or if he wasn't sure about that, but that seemed like a delayed call on the 3rd strike.
I mean, he's been a little bit inconsistent on that outside corner all day, and he's been a little bit more – he's tended to not give the pitcher the call and leave them as balls, but that one he called a strike on Troy, and it looked to be a little bit outside, but the 0-1 pitch to Levenbrook's blooped into right field. That's going to be a base hit. So Steve Levenbrook with an RBI single, and Hills pulls it to 10-4 now.
Real nice job of Levenbrook insiding out that ball was running in on his hands, and he looked like he stepped back, almost like he was afraid it was going to hit him, and he was just took a real defensive cut there, sent it to the opposite field, and that's another run. Now you're down 6. You got a shot here. Heart of the order coming up.
Well, you just got to keep chipping away now with Solomon and Kessel up. Anything could happen. They both have a lot of power. First pitch to Solomon misses inside, 1-0. Another bloop and a Kessel blast, and it's 10-7.
The impressive thing about Kevin Solomon is his ability to get on base. He's getting on base in over half of his at bats coming in here. That just shows tremendous presence. He's a tremendous hitter, great plate discipline. Again, big player, so he covers a lot of that plate. And he can get the pitches that are a little bit out of the strike zone and hit them with power.
I mean, Kevin goes to all fields, right, center, left, gaps. He works the gaps real well, especially to left center. So for left-handed hitters, left-handed power hitters that are usually more inclined to pull the ball, he's able to spray it to all fields. Curveball misses outside, so Solomon's ahead now, 3-1. I don't think Gandolfo would be too upset if he walked Solomon here. 3-1 curveball, swing and a miss. 3-2 now.
That's a gutsy pitch on 3-1. Took something off of that. Nice drop on that curveball. Kevin Solomon was way out in front of that. He was hitting fastball all the way.
Gandolfo working quickly, misses down low, ball 4.
And there's that plate discipline. Again, you don't have to, right now, when you're down 6, you don't have to do it all by yourself. You keep putting base runners on, you keep putting pressure on. Now you're in a position where you can build something here.
Right, because that was a pretty close pitch too, and for the 3-hitter, a kid who knows that he has to carry a lot of the weight on offense, to be able to take a pitch like that in a state playoff game, in a game where you want to come back and you want to make it happen, to be able to take a borderline pitch like that for ball 4 shows a lot of maturity. So another visit to the mound by the Highlands pitcher, and it looks like they're going to leave Gandolfo in the game, with the coach giving a little gesture to the fan saying he's going to stay in. So 122 pitches into it. Gandolfo's going to stay in here in the 6th, already giving up 2 runs in this inning. Runners on first and second.
And if you are a reliever for Northern Highlands right now, you have to be scratching your head. Apparently the coach has very little confidence in you.
Either that or he's got a lot of confidence in Gandolfo, who's carried the load for Northern Highlands working around 4 errors from his fielders.
He's absolutely earned the confidence, but he's starting to get a little bit wild now. He's starting to fall behind in the count, and this is a very dangerous hitter to be behind 2-0.
The 2-0 to Kessel, driven to right field. The right fielder coming in to make the catch. That was a huge opportunity for Hills, and Kessel gave it a ride, but the right fielder, Glenn Cox, was there to make the catch to end the inning.
Solid contact by Kessel. You can't take anything negative away from that at bat. He worked the count. He waited for a pitch to hit. He got a pitch that was up, got a pitch that he can drive, but it was the frozen rope right at the right fielder who had an opportunity to put him away to retire the side.
So with that play, Hills gets 2 runs closer, but they still trail by 6. So we'll head to the 7th and final inning, down 10-4. As Chris Amato is going to try to do his best to hold down Northern Highlands here in the top of the 7th.
Coach Gabbianelli is showing a lot of confidence in Amato. Doesn't want to waste any other relievers in this game, and Amato's earned it. He really has done a tremendous job of keeping Hills in it and saving some arms for their games. I believe they play a county game, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow. Yeah, and in a game like this right now, that's almost as important as just keeping it in the game, eating up innings so that you don't have to go to anybody else, so that you have guys fresh and ready to go when you have an opportunity with the score starting 0-0.
And with Troy only lasting 2 2/3, you would expect Wayne Hills to have to burn a good portion of their bullpen, but Amato's been able to allow them to not have to do that. So tomorrow with Levenbrook getting the start, he usually goes the distance, but if you need, you'll have 3-4 guys available out of the bullpen to come into that game. And to point out, Wayne Hills plays the 3-seeded Pompton Lakes Cardinals tomorrow. That game will be in Pompton Lakes at, I believe, 11 a.m. Don't take my word for it, though. And Levenbrook will get the start there. As I mentioned, he's the ace of this team, 5-2 on the season with a 2.17 ERA, 4 complete games and a shutout. So Coach I putting a little bit more emphasis on the county tournament, putting his ace in that game. The first pitch from Amato, driven to center field. Rubino coming in. He has room and makes the play. So Billy Taylor flies out to center on the first pitch here in the 7th. So he's 3 for 5 now on the day.
And I think for Coach Gabbianelli, I think that's a fine decision to have Steve pitching tomorrow. The county tournament being able to win the county tournament is a tremendous honor, and this team is so young. They're going to have their opportunities in states down the road. A lot of sophomore talent on this team. Really, there's a very bright future for this team and this program. So you can't hang your heads too much about the results right now. These guys have a lot of time left, and they have a tremendous future in front of them.
Justin Evedizian cuts that ball off and makes a nice strong throw to Kevin Solomon at first base for the 5-3 putout. But like we've mentioned time and time again, this is a very young team starting 5 sophomores. I mean, they're so young, like you said, and they're gonna be back next year as for sure in the counties and states. It's just whether they're going to be able to take advantage of the opportunities. But the guys you have to feel for right now is Jordan Kessel, Kevin Solomon, and Steve Levenbrook, the 3 senior leaders on this Wayne Hills baseball team, because this is their last ever state game. They got to the semis last year. Looks like, I mean, unless they can pull out a very unlikely rally in the bottom of 7, looks like they'll make it to the quarterfinals this year. 0-1 from Amato on the outside corner for strike 2.
And that's a tremendous achievement. This program has made some great strides over the last couple of years. They made it to the semis last year. They really have done a tremendous job in building this up and really developing a great core of talent. Coach Gabbianelli does a tremendous job developing all the guys, bringing them into the program, working them throughout the year, and really you see the improvement. You see how important these young guys are.
Troy Zaffino going to his left, a lot of range. A throw to first, not in time. Good speed from Alex Sanageri to beat that one out for the infield single.
Troy showed great range there, just being able to get to that ball. That was going to be a tough play. You have a fast runner coming up the line. The fact that it was that close, even I think a perfect throw probably doesn't get him. He looked like he would have beat it out by about half a step. But Troy showed a tremendous job getting to that ball. It looked like it was headed straight up the middle. I know you guys mentioned it before, but Troy's just a tremendous athlete all around.
First pitch to Gandolfo was bounced down the first baseline foul, but we forgot to mention the best achievement of this Wayne Hills baseball program. That's the county champions last year, beating Mercy ruling Pompton Lakes, the team they're going to face tomorrow. So they'll try to avenge that win with another victory. As
Well, that's why you're the lead guy here, because you have all this knowledge built right into that head of yours.
It
Got all the stats locked in there. It's amazing the amount of prep work that you have done for this. Really, just tremendous job.
well, it also helps that I'm in the program too, to know how we're doing in these tournaments. Nick Appaluccio as well as both catchers on the JV team, as Gandolfo fouls that one off. But I appreciate the praise.
Who's better than you? Good. Well, we're very glad to have you back next year. One more year.
Sanageri leads off first. Gandolfo, the hitter, 0-2 curveball, fouled off again, so Gandolfo continues to battle. Not giving away an at-bat in the situation that you might expect him to, as he's looking to just get through this inning and close out the game in the bottom of the seventh as the pitcher.
That was a good job, just fighting off a tough pitch there. Again, good late sink on that curveball by Amato, and Gandolfo just got a piece of it to stay alive in the count.
Runner goes. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. No throw needed to be made. So that'll do it for the inning. So Chris Amato puts up another 0 for Wayne Hills. And they'll go to the bottom of the seventh, down by 6, looking for the bats to come alive.
Again, they're going to have to be patient here. You're not going to do it with one swing of the bat. Make the pitchers work. Looks like, is that a new pitcher that they have in there?
It is. That is number
Who do we have?
21. He's not on my roster, so it could be a late season call up, which is probably what it is, because they had 2 younger players handwritten with no first names. So I didn't copy those down, but this is a younger pitcher who was not on the varsity team for the majority of the season. So with a 6-run lead, I'm sure Highlands just trying to save all the arms they can for their next game. But if this kid gets in trouble, you'd expect them to get some action up in the bullpen pretty quick, because it looks like there's a few substitutes in the game.
It's a 6-run lead. You want to clear your bench out. You want to get some guys work that normally might not get into this. This is a good opportunity to try to get them in there, especially before going into a semifinal game. See what you have if you need these guys in relief early on. Looks like he's featuring a little bit of throws a sidearm, maybe 3/4 angle there.
I mean,
that's going to be tough for right-handed batters.
This is going to be a big change up from the first pitcher, Gandolfo, who was a lefty, threw over the top, and now you're seeing a righty come from the side. So it's a big adjustment that these right-handed hitters are going to have to make.
The tough part of hitting a guy who throws sidearm, is, especially as a right-handed batter, is that you're not getting a good view of that ball. It looks like it's coming in from behind you. You can't square that up. And it almost has the illusion that the pitch is rising on you, even though it isn't. It seems like the pitch has upward movement, and that's tough to center especially for a right-handed batter. For lefties, that ball's breaking right into you. If you leave a pitch out over the plate, you can get it right off the sweet spot and take advantage. But for a righty hitter like Abadizian, he's probably going to have trouble squaring up a pitcher like this.
Sidearm fastball to Justin Abadizian, taken for strike 1. Justin 0 for 2 on the day, reached on an error in the 5th, walked in the 1st. Another sidearm pitch, looked like a slider, fouled back to the screen, so Abadizian behind 0-2 now.
Doesn't throw with a ton of velocity, but it looks like he's going to rely a lot on movement and a lot on that location and delivery to try to keep these hitters off balance.
The 0-2 slider outside. 1-2 slider, ripped deep to left field by Justin Avedisian. The left fielder will turn and look. It'll bounce over the fence or under the fence. I couldn't quite tell. But Justin Avedisian is into second with a leadoff double. So just the start Wayne Hills wanted here in the 7th inning, as now courtesy runner Joe Rapp will get into the game.
And after everything I said about how tough it might be for a hitter like Avedisian to square up a pitch like that, he drove that with authority to left field. Looked like the left fielder got a bad read on it. He seemed to come in a step before going back. It seemed like a playable ball if he got a better read and a better jump on it.
So Joe Rapp will come in to run for Avedisian, but he stroked that hanging slider to the fence in left field. I mean, Justin is quite the hitter, like I mentioned earlier, and he tattooed that slider to the left field fence, and Wayne Hills has a runner in scoring position after the very first at-bat. So right now for Hills, you just got to keep trying to get on base without making any outs, because they only got 3 to work with. Slider on the outside corner to Rubino.
Real nice pitch. Nice pitch to get ahead of the batter. Again, good location, good movement on the pitches right here.
A good take from Rubino. He couldn't do much with that one.
Again, this pitcher seems to be worried a little bit too much about the runner on second. Up 6 runs, worry about the guy at the plate, get your 3 outs and go home. Don't be distracted and leave a pitch up that Tyler Rubino can drive, and that's just going to keep the inning going and keep the rally alive.
Rubino 0 for 3, reached on an error and scored in the 4th. The 0-2 swing and a miss from Tyler, so he goes down on 3 pitches.
Real nice sink on that fastball. Again, good late movement on that pitch. Dove right out of the zone, and Rubino just swung right over it.
So Andrew Monahan will come to the plate, 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. Sidearm fastball misses high. Looks like fastball slider is what this Northern Highlands pitcher has to work with, and typical of a sidearmer. Strike to Monahan on the fastball, 1-1. Adesso on deck to be followed up by Amato. And Wayne Hills is going to need them all to get on base if they wish to come back here, down by 6 in the 7th. Slider misses outside, ball 2.
Ooh, that looked like a tough pitch to lay off of right there. I'm not sure about that call. Definitely was about belt high. Guess it was just a little outside.
Monahan bloops this one into center, shortstop going out, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. Rapp will move over to third as Monahan has his 2nd hit of the day. So Andrew keeping the hopes for Wayne Hills alive as they now have 2 guys on with 1 out for Ed Steve Adesso.
And good job by Ramadan not to get caught there. There was some question. The center fielder looked like he had a play on that. There's no sense in setting yourself up for a game-ending double play. His run, he's going to have to score somehow. So there was no sense in being overly aggressive and making a foolish play on the base path. Good base running right there.
Yeah, Joe Rapp got a good read ahead of time on that one.
Sorry, that was Joe Rapp, not Ramadan.
1st and 3rd, Adesso swings and misses at the fastball. Adesso singled and scored his last time up. And he fouls this one off over toward us.
Oh. The joys of working in an open booth where foul balls can fly right over your head and
hit a fan behind you.
Hit a fan. Hopefully it doesn't hit us.
Mr. Levenbrook almost got nailed there.
One of the many things you don't have to worry about when doing a football game.
Adesso lines a single into center field. Monahan's going to stop at second. So an RBI single for Steve Adesso scores Joe Rapp, which is Justin Avedisian's run. So it's 10-5 now, and Hills has 2 guys on with 1 out.
And it looks like the Hills batters are making good contact off this pitcher. Again, that delivery can be a little fooling. The movement's been good, but when he leaves his pitches up about belt high right over the plate, it's been easy for the Hills batters to square up. And they've made some real solid contact against this reliever. And he is done.
So they're going to take out that pitcher after just a 1/3 of an inning. Gave up 3 hits out of the 4 batters he faced. And it was only a matter of time for Hills' bats to wake up because, I mean, Gandolfo shut him down. He's a quality ace. But after that, Highlands doesn't appear to have too much more. So it's just a matter of whether they can keep stringing these hits together. Now they've cut it to a 5-run game, and they have 2 guys on with 1 out. And it looks like coming into pitch is going to be the former first baseman, Mark Rossi, who was involved in that elbow thrown by Monahan earlier in the game. So it looks like they put that last pitcher in just to give Rossi enough time to warm up, because they had a new. I noticed that they had a new first baseman in this inning, and that was to allow Rossi to warm up in the bullpen, and now he's loose and ready to come in.
And at this point, you can't play around. The lead's been cut to 5. You got a couple of runners on. If this represents your best option to get 2 outs and close out the game, you know, you want to save guys, you want to save arms, but you can't let the Hills team get back into this. They're getting close to that point where the tying run's going to come to the plate. You got to stop the bleeding right now and try to get out of here if you're Northern Highlands. This is going to be, again, a difficult adjustment for the Hills batters. They've been looking at a guy who's coming in sidearm in 3/4. Now they're back to a guy who's coming in over the top. Let's see how they adjust to it.
So the second right-hander that Hills is going to see after facing a lefty the whole game. So it'll roll through Gandolfo's final pitching line. 6 innings, 125 pitches, 8 strikeouts, 4 walks, 7 hits allowed, 4 runs, only 2 of them earned.
It's funny when you hear about a high school pitcher throwing 125 pitches, and then you think about professional players making millions of dollars being limited to 100 pitches at the most. Not sure if that means they're more valuable or less valuable, but it's odd to see that the professionals can't go as long into a game, as deep into a game as some of these high school guys.
Well, Gandolfo's their ace, so he's valuable, but they. In a tournament situation, he's going on 3 days rest, throwing 125 pitches. So, I mean, if the kid's willing to do it, the coach is gonna leave him out there. But, I mean, the professionals going 100 just bothers me as a fan, because as Monahan's gonna take off for third, I don't know what this is, and Monahan's picked off for third.
That was a disastrous base running mistake. I don't know what Monahan was doing. You're down 5 runs. You can't get thrown out on a base like that. His run is insignificant. They need the guys to drive him in. That was just a bad base running mistake. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know. I really don't have an explanation for that. Good job by Rossi of not balking, stepping off, making sure he got that throw over there.
See that? Yeah, he wants to end the game as well.
Amato pops it up, and just like that, in a matter of seconds, Rossi puts away the game. Highlands celebrates all around. They beat Wayne Hills by a final score of 10-5 and move on to the state semifinals. A tough game for the Patriots, no matter how you slice it. So they'll shake hands, and Hills will go home defeated. So no matter how you look at it, just a tough game for Wayne Hills. Losing in the quarterfinals.
I would really love to get Coach Ionell's reaction to Monahan's play right there. I'm sure he can't be happy about that type of mistake at the end of the game.
I just want to say that I'm a little disappointed that the Patriots lost, but you know what? They played a good game, and they played well. So you know what? I really can't blame them.
And there were a lot of fluky things that happened. Again, you go back to that bunt. That was the turning point of the game for me, in that that bunt, if it rolls foul, no harm, no foul. If you make a play on it, then you're probably getting out of that inning without a run, maybe a run scored. But it just put them in a hole that, against a really good pitcher like Gandolfo, their batters were going to have a lot of trouble digging themselves out of.
So there's just not much to say. The Hills pitching kind of let them down today. Their defense was solid. Their hitting was pretty good. They just couldn't pull it out because the hitting of Northern Highlands was just superior. 15 hits in the game. I mean, not much you could say about this one. They're eliminated in the quarterfinals of the state tournament, but they still have hope. County quarterfinals tomorrow against the 3rd-seeded Pompton Lakes team. We wish this Highlands team the best of luck. I mean, 16 seed now in the semifinals. That's a pretty nice accomplishment for them, as they had a lot of fans here today, so they'll move on. So we're going to wrap it up. For everyone on our TV crew behind the scenes doing a great job, our fellow announcers, Paul Gabbianelli, Nick Appaluccio, and Mr. Berkowitz, I'm John Vittas saying have a nice day, and we'll see you later from Wayne Hills High School.